who, I guess the closest term to Rylan is like squire or protege to Harud Eshret. Farm boy picked up outside of Arnhen and given a gauntlet that is cursed but very powerful. You've got Tolston and Anna Graves, the potentially the final, like the last descendants of Memon Graves. Now that their clan has been destroyed, I think you do have one injured Graves clan on board as well that you guys took with you. You have Grimna, the dwarven, I guess, engineer for the ship. And you have several others. We've got Balmond, the dwarven deckhand, Kelwarm, the lizard folk man, and Telford, all three deckhands.
Is the old captain still tied up in one of the closets, or did they ditch him somewhere?
When you asked Landon about it, it seems like he
Well,
ditched
Lotho
him.
wouldn't have asked because he wouldn't have known about it.
Well, when somebody asks Landon,
Okay.
they ditched him in Sadir.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before the bomb
He was
plan
blown up.
dropping.
The thing about that was, I think the plan was to ditch him when they left, and they might have left suddenly. That's why it was a question.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Just wondering, in case that would be a thing that
It's good,
popped out
good
of the
thing to
closet
wonder.
anytime.
So you are in Arkval, and I believe you guys said you wanted to head west. Your overall objective was Rodovan, a kind of mysterious place out in the desert wastes of Harn. But you had scheduled to stop, hopefully, on Masenkia, a fairly uncharted jungle island on the Mirror Sea between Lesend and Keldum, hoping that the native population of Minotaurs there might be amenable to giving you guys some aid. You're going to need some supplies to continue your journey, and Reltros, as Landon has pointed out, is basically just a pirate cove now, and almost all of Lesend is lawless and ruled by bandits, pirates, and like minor demigods, which are just kind of wreaking havoc upon the land. So I think we set course to Masenkia. The way we're going to be doing our travels aboard the airship is going to be similar to how we take a perilous journey on land, but there'll be a few differences. For one thing, I don't think any of you has any experience navigating. I don't think anybody can be like the trailblazer. You're basically going to have to rely on Landon for that. I think
Maybe we should do it more like a take watch then, possibly?
Well, there's the scout who is the one that actually keeps an eye out for trouble, and I will let you guys actually roll a rotation on that. If somebody wants to be dedicated quartermaster to the ship, they can. Currently, I believe the lizard folk deckhand Kelwarm has been handling supplies. But if one of you thinks you can potentially do a better job, you can take over being the quartermaster for the journey. If you are, however, you will not be able to roll on the watch rolls.
I'll watch all your stuff.
I think that I'm
I
going
think
to
most
say
importantly
that,
that involves watching all the food, not all the stuff per se.
I'll watch everything.
So
Fergus
Lobo,
gives you the look that looks a lot like his picture right now.
does everybody?
Please excuse me while Telemon spends his one and only contingency spell to set up a polymorph if something tries to steal someone from me.
Okay.
Oh, really?
It might be.
But you wouldn't know that, though.
Yep.
Yeah,
You
I
probably
know.
shouldn't have said that out loud.
Yeah.
That is what whispering to the So Lotho, you're taking quartermaster. I guess I'm gonna get a watch roll from Mirai, Fergus, Heru, and Powercord if you guys are all taking turns. If one of you is not, please let me know.
I will definitely take watch. Also, one thing to keep in mind, I'm not sure if this still applies, but I did sanctify the deck as soon as I got back on board. I believe that gives me some warning if something is going to attack me directly or enters the
Yep.
sanctif. So,
That's a good thing to
mentioning it.
remind. All right, so if everybody is going to be taking turns on the watch, let's get a wisdom roll from our quartermaster first.
I'm assuming you're not going to let me do that, or are you guys?
It sounded like nobody had any
Okay.
objections. Like,
I think that
I would definitely not let the thief to the quartermaster.
yeah,
Alright,
I
you-
think
you-
that Heru
okay.
might step up with that actually.
But in
and ask
stats,
who'd like
Tell is
to.
actually worse at it than he is.
so who is actually doing it then? If
Well, I
anybody.
used to handle the vittles, but he wants to give it a try.
You look like you might eat them all.
Haru's going to laugh at that and say, perhaps if we have the newcomer assist with the supplies, we can have. What was her name? The assistant to the captain, the girl that's always hanging around with him.
Nara, the
That's it.
tall elf woman.
I'm going to suggest perhaps Nara can keep an eye on our quartermaster and make sure he doesn't feel inclined to keep
Perhaps
more
he
than
can-
he gives out.
Perhaps he fixes some halfling delicacies.
I think if you're saying this anywhere near Nara, you just see her give like a cold look over towards the thief, maybe. Like not outright hostile, but she's definitely more in line with like I guess the cold, emotionless Terminator look than anything else. She doesn't look like she's fairly easy to fool.
Haru glances up at that and looks to Lotho and says, I do believe she is an acceptable choice to keep an eye on you for your endeavors.
I gesture around to the quickly moving sky amongst us, and just where do you think I'm going to go with anything that I might misplace?
Haru's just gonna cross his arms and say that I'm sure you'd find a nice stash spot on the ship for when you do disembark.
So so is Lotho after all going to be our quartermaster?
I would rather Fergus be quartermaster than Lotho, whatever he says.
Haru seems willing to let Lotho be quartermaster as long as he has somebody watching him. But
If Lotho's gonna be quartermaster, then I'm gonna be watching him the whole time.
Okay, so you're not going to be on actual watch?
Nope.
Lotho watch.
Okay.
That's hilarious.
The Lotho watch. I guess Telemon, like it looks like Heru's fine with it. Do you try to overrule him? Like there's no real hierarchical command structure here.
No, it's fine.
All right. Lotho, give me a wisdom roll for your quartermaster.
Wow, one of my worst stats, guys. You
We're
let me
gonna
get away
laugh
with
if
that.
you could do double ones now. That would be just the perfect solution to this.
Oh,
We will-
7.
Okay. Yeah. So no supplies go missing. at least that we can determine. You guys have the I guess the amount of rations that you should to get there. If anything else happens, that's not in the purview of the role, but we'll see. So far, so good. Let's get scout wisdom rolls from anybody who is taking a watch up on deck. Just, I guess, looking out over the slowly moving terrain beneath you and eventually the water, and more importantly, maybe the skies around you. Good rolls so far. Very good rolls so far. All right, so you guys keep a keen watch. Very keen. I think you're all fairly paranoid of trouble, especially given the fact that there is, an airship somewhere back behind you.
Well, hopefully it set airships in pieces, I think. Between being struck by lightning, smashed to the ground, and then an air elemental, I think it's probably not very feasible.
You never really did see it, but yeah, that's a valid assumption. They rebuilt it once, though.
I think if they rebuilt it at this point, it might be a cloud of parts more than an airship.
Very possible. All right, so you guys set out,
I
and
did
I'm gonna make a roll.
Hammer it with lightning after it hit the ground, enough to summon a storm elemental. So
Actually, would we have any brave fools willing to venture a 1d10 roll?
Not I. My rolls were shit last night for Star Wars. Not Star
Nice,
Wars, but
Lotha.
Battletech stuff.
I'm always willing to roll a dice. You mentioned it.
fought
Yep.
the dice were on freaking fire last night, though.
I heard about that. Let me consult.
Peyton had that really good run on the island that one time. Roll like 3 10s out of 4 rolls or something.
You guys do get the occasional hot streak. I think Victor tends to get the occasional "how is his character not dead"
Yeah.
streak.
Tell would be spending his time probably getting to know people, trying to figure out what's up with Lily, but that'd take a long time, I imagine. Checking up on the Sarcasmicon and its status, or how long. I think this would be fairly obvious when that's ready again. And in general, just trying to get along with everyone on the ship. That's what Tell would be doing for the couple days it's going to take.
Cool.
I actually would like to. Oh god, this is not going to end well for me, given I have a flat roll here. But I'd like to spout lore to about anything I heard about this Minotaur colony since our adventure there. So maybe I know how things. Maybe any details about them.
It was
Alright.
obliterated.
All right, give me a spout lore.
Damn.
All you know is that there was news that came out quite a long time ago of a lost civilization of Minotaurs living somewhere out in the middle of the Mirror Sea, on an island that have been lost and is not on any charts. I think you know the general area of the Mirror Sea where it is, but with that sort of role, you don't know much about it at all.
Huh?
You just you have rumors and theorems.
Island full of Minotaurs, huh? Well, is it a big island? Because Minotaurs take a lot of space. No offense here.
Bruce shakes his head and says, I do not know, but I do know that they likely have come from by people and were shipwrecked trying to cross the sea. It would be my guess anyway. I'm not an historian.
Interesting question there, hero. What do we be planning on trading for these supplies?
Brew looks about and says, that is a good question. We should summon up as many valuables as we can that they might be interested in.
Not a lot of those in proliferation right now.
Well, I have some jewels and stuff. If it means us eating, just let me do the haggling at least.
I'm going to nod and say, perhaps your silver tongue will work, but
Jewels
want
might
my
have
presence
little
then.
value to an island people.
nods and says that perhaps they've lost touch with their culture. I believe that we will want to have practical items available for them as well. Perhaps simple things like gear or tools could be traded for food with them.
No, we don't have a terrible lot of those either, unfortunately.
We did not.
There's
agree.
always the classic service. Quest.
One quick question, something I didn't even consider, and I'm fixing right now. Did anybody not heal to full between sessions?
Well, it's like 3 days to get to the island, so.
Yeah, we'll
Okay.
be.
Okay,
Yeah,
I would
you'll be full up.
Okay, I was just making sure because there's a +1d4. I just want to make sure we got it. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, Tail currently is not full, but as soon as the first day passes, he will be.
Throwing motions to Lotho and says perhaps we should go first and greet them before the others frighten these people. We're not sure.
Well, we have to get off of our
civilization.
first. There's quite a bit of stuff that could get in the way. Off of Arkfall, excuse me. Arnhen's far behind us, hopefully.
Delutha, what brought you to an ice pillar?
Yes, what is it you were seeking in that place?
Oh, I had heard that there was a lot of great things in there, so wanted to check them out.
I'm gonna shoot you this most interrogative look and say, did you find any? Obviously implying you might have something you didn't reveal.
I don't remember, oddly enough.
So,
Haru crosses his arms at that explanation, so you don't remember if you found anything interesting.
Did you? I cross my arms as well and stare back at you.
Yes, and the group is fully aware of what we have.
Didn't I find one of those things?
Haru nods and just looks Lotho over with a bit of suspicion and lets out this kind of a ha sound.
So, Mirai, your hair seems to be growing in better.
oh, I don't know, it's a little short. But, so, what happened to the fiery one? I haven't seen him lately.
He was corrupted and dragged into the flames by a creature unspeakable. Way to shake my head.
Maybe I'm wrong, but, fire wasn't a big thing for him, so dragged into the flames doesn't really explain much to me.
I'm going to point over to the literally the compressed hunk of junk that was my armor I've been carrying around and I've stashed on the ship now and say that that ball of scrap metal was my armor. He crushed it into my chest. He was corrupted.
Ah, well, he was a big duty face anyway, so don't worry about that.
Haru crosses his arms
I have a
and
bond
say,
for
I
Satal as
regret
a big duty
failing him.
face.
I should have seen the corruption upon him and done something about it before it consumed him.
And before that,
So, do we not
I
have
killed
to
him
worry
with
about
this
him
axe.
burning the ship down anymore? I was a bit concerned.
he went to the pyres of hell.
I'm gonna look to Tal and look back and say, you still should be concerned about the fires
Do I
upon this
sound
ship.
like I'm talking as hell right now?
You're currently talking to the goblin girl.
Oh no, I like looked across the deck at Tal
Okay.
to insinuate that you still have to worry about fires on the ship.
This is true. He's not called Tell him on the red for nothing.
Don't worry, I've got a wand of fire extinguishing now, right?
You do indeed. That might come in handy. Okay, so give me, I guess another brave adventurer. Please roll 1d3.
I guess I'll do it.
I know it'll take a minute for the computer to calculate. All right.
Red number. I wonder if it's a good or a bad red number.
So on your journey, you have not even yet crossed out of Arkfall. I think you are passing about probably Cavaris, having kind of steered around Onreath. And you are just coming into sight of, the Mirror Sea and the open seas beyond, when one of you on watch, I think. Let's see here. I think Haru. You notice several silhouettes in the sky behind you.
Oh boy.
Definitely
can I-
miles back.
Can I attempt to do a, man, we haven't done this in so long, a discern realities
Yeah.
roll as I take a closer look at them? Perhaps I'll go over and see if, our captain friend has a spyglass to borrow from him.
Oh, he most
And,
definitely
go-
does.
I shall take the spyglass out, retract it out, and stand with one foot up on the edge of the deck and look out over my, spyglass and roll this here.
Okay.
Landing goes, just don't break it, big guy.
Yeah, Landon's like, I only just pilfered that from the
Double
captain's
one, and I
quarters.
drops it on the ground.
Actually, if you double one, you drop it over the side.
It then drops onto the ground after.
Yeah,
quite
it's just
long delay.
yeah, after a few tens of seconds.
Okay, I will ask first, what is about to happen? Does it look like these things are doing?
You see 3 silhouettes back there. It's hard to tell exactly what they are, but it looks like they're definitely pursuing you. You don't see them waver from side to side at all. They seem to be set on the same course, and they do seem to be not fading behind you. If they're gaining slowly.
Then I will ask next, trying to figure out what the figures are, I guess is the context, what should I be on the lookout for?
So, when you were passing through the eastern, the eastern side of the continent, I think you definitely noticed when you were getting off of your ship, you noticed several large figures, I guess, are in the sky, and they seem to be off fairly far in the mountains. And I think you asked whoever it was that was taking you aboard their ship what those are as you were being put into port, and they said the Red Knights of Death, formerly the Ardanian Sky Knights. You don't know if these are particularly the same thing. You're a very long way from Ardane. I'll get us back to the main map for a second. Ardane's all the way up here. So it is quite a ways away. It could have been. I think you probably heard tale of wyverns that live in Ashar to the south that have slowly been taking over the Lyrian forest for the last century in the southern reaches of Arkval. Could be them.
Quick question.
I think you just should know to look out for flying creatures, and potentially flying creatures with a rider.
Before I ask my last question, and this will matter, I'm going to holler over, and hopefully you don't mind doing this, McLeod. I'm going to holler over to Telemon and say, go grab one of those books out of my bag. Tell me what you know about the Red Riders of Death. I heard they hailed from Ardane.
Riders of Death? Riding what? As they rush off to get the book.
The Ardanian Sky Knights ride a species of giant hawk that are absolutely immense, and I think you would most certainly know about the Ardanian Sky Knights, Telemon.
Oh, are they like a thing from my time?
Oh yeah, definitely. They're basically the only thing that keeps Ardane independent of both Boros and Kald. They are talked about in myth going all the way back to prehistory, and they're considered one of the most powerful, respected, and honorable groups of knights and warriors in all of Keldum. Probably the most fabled single order of warriors on your continent. You don't know exactly what happened to them after the
I would probably
apocalypse.
tell him as I roughly like, they were a very honored group in my time, but it's been a long time.
Check my books for any information on them if you do not know what they are like now. I have not heard of them before other than recently. And I'm going to continue eyeing them as I prepare to ask my last question. I need to know if they are friend or foe. You know
Okay,
what?
so
I'm
you're
gonna ask my last question right now anyway, because it's what I'm looking for. Who is really in charge, or who's really in control here? I'm trying to identify which one is like the lead writer.
Okay, so there's 3 of them. They're in a V formation. You'd have to assume that the one in the lead is probably the leader. You can't see them yet, but I think like even as you're looking, you can start to make out like the kind of horizontal form of the creatures pursuing you. They definitely have very, very, very large wingspans. And you can see the speck of what might be a rider on them.
Okay, so Tell's gonna find that book, and I'll try to spout lore of it about the Knights and their current, like, I guess, affiliations, if that's in the book.
Okay.
Can you tell me what book it is?
Mirai,
I'm gonna
if
dispatch
she's
a,
with Hiru, wants to spout lore about the hawks themselves, which uses wisdom because I have familiar prey.
Okay, so I guess mark off one use of the bag of books.
Yep, I guess we have what would that be? Like a book of organizations or something?
It might be orders of like, I guess, military orders. Would that be a thing that Haru would take back with him?
Yeah, let's see who's in service to what group and that sort of thing.
Like the
Maybe
general
their history.
The general military forces of Keldum and like the knightly orders and stuff like that. I think that's probably appropriate. All right, give me a spout lore roll +1 there, Telemon.
I have marked that down as Military Orders of the World, bracket future book, bracket.
That works.
Tell rolls
I would-
11.
All right. Military orders of Keldum. I think there is definitely a chapter about the Ardanian Sky Knights. Talk about a little bit about their training. I think there's actually a penciled-in image, fairly beautiful actually, of this giant, magnificent hawk, and on its back with a very complex saddle, a rider in full armor, like full red armor. Very unusual. It's full plate with a white cape billowing out behind him. You can see several quivers of arrows attached to his saddle. You can see a very long bow on his back, a sword, like a long sword, at his side. But the most prominent thing is, of course, I would say, 15 to 20 foot long lance that he is wielding. There is like a couch on part of the saddle for him to rest it there. It looks like the longest pointy stick you have ever seen, ever. It's got a shield, but the lance is definitely noteworthy. Looking at it, it talks about how they're not great in number. The Ardanians breed the Ardanian hawk in the mountains of Ardane, and when one of the Ardanian Sky Knights is ready to join the order, he actually raises one from infancy, and they spend all of their time together for years before he ever attempts to ride the hawk. And I think there's one particular part about their training that catches your eye. Apparently the final test for anyone who is going to be declared worthy of being a Sky Knight, they jump off the back of their hawk at very high altitude, and it is the hawk's duty, after like a period of like 10 seconds of just waiting there in the air, to drop down and go and catch their rider somewhere in the sky. And it's probably an absolutely terrifying thing. And I think what you glean is these people are very highly trained, very, I guess, what would be the word? Very stringent in their traditions. And there is an addendum at the end that talks about how, after Ardain fell, Death made a deal with the current ruler of, I guess, the current deity with domain over what was formerly Ardain, in exchange for quite a few of the dead Sky Knights.
So, undead Night Warriors, maybe.
Very possible.
I called like, Death looks like he may have gotten a hold of some of the undead knights. I don't know if their birds are undead or not.
I'm going to be keeping my, in fact, I know exactly what I'm probably going to do. I'm going to keep an eye on it until I can identify
what
it
be
positively.
y'all spouting about? The biggest walks up.
On the alarms! To arms! I'll holler out.
Graves, is that ballista ready to work?
So I think the ballista has been mounted. It's on like a swivel position up front, and he has been getting it ready over the last couple of days. And he yells back, "It should be. Done several test firings, but I'll be damned if I say I'm any good with it. Shooting at something in the sky."
You keep to your bows. I don't have mine. Let me get in the ballista thing. Would I fit inside of it, by the way? I don't know if it's made for somebody my size.
We could launch you with it.
You would have to stand behind it and probably on top of something.
A box, okay.
Yeah.
It faces what, forward?
It faces forward, but it can be turned all the way around. It's like it's a deck gun, basically on a turret swivel.
Oh, when can I positively identify if these are undead riders or regular riders?
Maybe when you see the whites of their eyes. Unless you have some other method of identifying them.
I have a
I'm
question.
watching through the spyglass, hoping to get a bit of a warning. Doesn't have to be that far off.
Okay, so it takes the whole day for them to eventually catch up to you, going at the speed you're going. I mean, they were miles back, and you're roughly going at the same speed. They're just maybe a little bit faster. So it takes them 5 or 6 hours to really get within good visual range.
By this time, I bet I have found a couple boxes to prop up along the side of the ballista.
All right, cool.
I think Karoo might have been suggesting, if our engineer wasn't busy, to maybe hammer some battlements up here, any kind of plates they could possibly put along the sides. People can take cover. Our bow wielders.
I not be the best with ranged combat. I mean, I have some javelins, but
Karoo nods and says that they may board if they are what I think they may be.
also
I
these
need to
javelins
know.
are supposed to be ammo for the ballista.
I need to be sure before I act against them, and then I will set upon them. And I'm going to turn back and keep a close eye on them, like never breaking glances. Like
So yeah,
how good they are.
you're on the aft castle of the ship and just staring back at them most of the day. Does anybody do anything?
I actually, since I have a whole day, right?
Pretty much.
I'm going to ask someone to take watch for me in case they try any tricks. And I am actually going to pray to my deity to change my spell selection.
That sounds fine.
Give me 1 second. Okay. As soon as I come back, is everything still all right? As I come back with the to take the spyglass back out?
They are much closer. You lift the spyglass up to your eye and take a peek.
Yes, I do.
And I'm loading an image. This is essentially what you see. There's 3 of them, and they are none too pleased.
How does the rider look? He is my primary focus. And also, does the bird look healthy?
All right. So the rider is covered in red plate mail armor. You cannot see any details about him other than that. He's got a long, tattered cape behind him.
While I'm looking through at him and looking at the rider, I'm going to cast Detect Evil, Detect Alignment Evil.
Okay, let's cast that
With
then.
sight.
That's good. This is good.
10, so I think that's a bit of success.
Yeah, when you cast a spell, choose an alignment: good, evil, lawful, or chaotic. One of your senses is briefly able to detect that alignment. She will tell you what here is of that alignment. Yeah, you look out and you can see suddenly like a dark cloud misting from beneath the visor and out from the plates of this guy's armor. And yeah, you get the feeling that this is most definitely I think all 3 knights are leaving this kind of faint, misty black trail behind them as they fly through the sky.
So,
I am going to
like
holler
the Duke's
out.
guards, same kind of thing?
Like what?
Like the Duke of Arnhen's guards?
Very similar.
I'm going to holler back, "We have undead confirmation!" And I'm going to look back and say,
And the bird definitely does not look to be healthy.
that should be fine. I'm going to turn back and I'm going to look straight at the bird and I will say, "Suffer not this fate, flying creature." And I'm going to try to cast Cause Fear on the bird against its rider.
Awesome. Oh, that's great. Okay, let's get a cause fear roll from you.
Oh my god, that sucks!
I don't see what you rolled.
Once again, Victor, you rolled it in the wrong campaign.
Oh!
That's the time to do that! That's the time to do that!
Victor, close your other campaign, damn it.
Yeah, I actually didn't even know that was open. That's why I mistook it. Alright, hold on, let me roll it here, hold on. Okay, Cause Fear, here
Your
we go.
campaign's not just tomorrow, there's no reason for it to be open right now.
I had another window. I didn't realize it was up. Ooh, yes, much. Well, I'm really glad I didn't roll the same thing there. Okay, 13.
Okay. Cause fear. Choose a target you can see and a nearby object. The target is afraid of the object so long as you maintain the spell. Their reaction is up to them: flee, panic, beg, or fight. While this spell is ongoing, you take -1 to cast a spell. Do not target enemies with less than animal intelligence. Magical constructs, undead, automatons, and the like.
Uh-oh.
Less than animal is not animal intelligence. But does it have less intelligence now that it's an undead animal?
I think if it was trying to be skillfully flying, like, and still able to execute the kind of maneuvers these guys do, it's probably a fairly intelligent animal. That was my
I
thinking
think
when I
that
did
line's generally for, like, you know, like, this general shambling undead.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But this thing might be shambling through the sky. Who knows? It does affect it. These things are extremely intelligent. Probably less so now that it's undead, but still pretty intelligent. So, you target the lead rider.
Our lead bird.
Yeah, I guess
It's
the
still a
lead
lead
bird
rider. Well, yeah,
and cause fear of the rider on top of it. Why is it afraid of its rider, Haru?
I believe that its rider is no longer going to maybe appear as its rider, but appear as something that it's whatever natural predator that might normally go after this kind of a bird. Not sure what kind of a creature could be like that, but
All right. So, yeah, I think everybody who's just kind of gathered up has turned around and they see suddenly this lead bird just start diving and start like you hear this terrifying shriek through the skies as it starts to turn around and try desperately to like claw or I guess like bite at the rider, but it's located right behind its head. So what ends up happening is the bird starts spiraling downwards, and after several moments, you see the rider and the bird basically disappear from sight down beneath the deck.
Are they within range of the ballista?
They are, but they're coming in from behind, and the ballista is up front.
It doesn't swivel all the way around?
It does, but let me.
There's things in the way,
There's
I'm assuming.
a deck in the way.
Portcullis and all that kind of stuff, yeah.
The
Alrighty.
aft castle.
I won't blow somebody off with that then. On the
Yeah,
miss.
he'd have to aim upwards and fire into a ballistic trajectory at something he cannot see.
Yeah, toward where the captain's then probably.
Yeah.
Is, of that note, is the steering wheel external or internal in this ship?
It's up there on top of the aft castle.
Okay.
There's no windows.
Right. So, what Tell is going to do, Tell is going to use wall of ice to make what amounts to the crenellations you find on a castle, so we can hide behind them.
Nice. Okay. So they're. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Having more ice just means it'll probably fly off the edge of the ship. Are you adjusting its parameters in any way?
Let's see, how much ice? I get. Oh, that was a lot of ice, wasn't it? It was like.
Yeah, it's 50 by like 12 by 100 maybe.
50 by 12 by 100. How much does that weigh? Is that a problem I need to worry about?
Probably quite a few tons, but that would be only if all of it was on your ship. I think you can have, if you're looking at the spell, you can have the length, width, or height in double one of the other dimensions. I will say that it is definitely possible for you. Yeah, just give me a spell roll. If you want to make this far less than what it normally is, you just have to succeed. If it's partial success, there might be problems.
Success.
Yep. All right. So yeah, you can.
Of that note, it might not be a 10. Tell has. He's still stunned. Is that correct?
No,
Okay.
it was temporary. Good for reminding me though. So yeah, wall of ice, 100 feet by 20 feet by 6 feet. But this, with a full success, you're able to craft ice crenellations around the sides of the ship, and I think you basically kind of like shunt the rest of the cold away from the ship, and it doesn't form into ice. And suddenly, you guys have like a protective barrier of ice.
There, that should help some.
Well, this shield against fire is Telemon. I'll holler over as I'm looking for power cord.
Well, it'll melt. It's just standard, it's normal ice. To an extent, possibly.
Is it creating any drag on the ship to slow us down now?
You're definitely not getting away from these guys. They were
Okay.
gaining on you before.
They're gaining a little more now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Haru is going
Just
to
a little
stand
bit.
on the back and scream, "Power cord!" Where, if anyone seen him?
I think you probably hear something slam into a roof inside. Power cord, do you come out from below decks?
Yeah. Yeah, if I can hear some commotion going around on deck, I'll definitely head up
Yep.
there.
So power cord slams out of one of the doors.
I believe this occasion calls for one of your jaunty tunes, and I will turn and take out the Book of Corinth.
I shall stand ready, as I can't do anything until they get closer. As I like kind of crouch behind the battlements.
How close are these guys now?
Actually, no, I stand in defense of Landon, who's driving. Yeah.
They are within about a football field's length away by now. You can see that there are two riders pursuing you from the rear.
Can I spout some lore about these sickly-looking bird things?
You guys essentially know what they are already.
What are you looking for specifically?
Yeah, like what
I'm
more are
looking
you
for,
hoping
like-
to gain?
Like any kind of like weaknesses, fears, like things that just might, scare the hell out of them or something, basically.
That might work. Yeah. What's your purview? I guess you can always spout lore. You're not using your bardic lore, so yeah, you can spout lore.
Or yeah, I guess sorry, I do want to use bardic lore, which is
What is your bardic-
bestiaria of creatures unusual.
Yeah, you might definitely know about this.
Unusual seems to apply. That's a cool lore to take. I like that one.
I think let's see here. Alright, yeah, so when you first encounter an important creature, location, or item, your call covered by your bardic lore, you may ask the GM any one question about it. The GM will answer truthfully. The GM may ask you what tale, song, or legend you heard that information in.
So I guess specifically I want to ask, like, what are these birds terrified of?
I think losing their riders. These things are fabled to have been basically raised by their riders, and they would probably not be effective at fighting or anything of that matter without their riders to guide them.
Okay.
Which is maybe why that cause fear spell was so effective. So they're I guess they're about a football's field away, and you can see that the lances have been couched and they are drawing bows. They're still at like really far range. Like you don't know how anybody could hit them. And I think you see Nara walk up on deck with her bow near Mariah, and she's standing ready, but even she's not like taking a shot just yet.
Not gonna stop Peru. I'm going to look to power chord to see if he's going to play a tune as I start to raise the book.
Yes, but I have a question, Star.
Mm-hmm.
The Arrow of Seeking, does it still have like the normal like range limitations I would expect of a longbow?
Let me read Arrow of Seeking. It might not. No. I don't think so. This arrow, once fired, homes in on its target relentless until it finds its mark. It cannot miss, although its flight can be interfered with. If your enemy has a weak spot known to you, the arrow finds it ignores any armor the target has.
Good to know. I think I would rather use one of the other effects in this case. Unfortunately, I don't think Thunder would work, being as they're undead, but it would be great if it did, because it's like a stun concuss thing and they're flying.
As like Haru kind of pulls out his book and starts preparing, I'm going to basically make my way to the back of the ship and climb up on like the highest point, which might not be such a great idea, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah, I think most everybody's up there looking at these guys approaching.
Okay. I'm going to like sort of climb up on, I guess, kind of the back there a little bit. Maybe not like stand on the railing quite, but you know, get up there pretty high.
All right.
And I'm going to sing Heru Deshret, the Lord of Storms, with his mighty staff he commands the power of the hurricane. So I'm gonna do Heru. What am I gonna get? Well, 44 forward to damage, and the next time someone assists him with aid, they get +2 instead of +1.
Wow.
Wow, that's awesome. I'll make a note of that.
So how does he get 44?
Because I have what's this called? Eldritch Chord. When I use Arcane Art, I choose 2 effects, and then I can double one of them.
Nice.
So I guess I'm not actually 100% clear on that. So does he get 44 forward, or just 2d4 forward and then doubles whatever he rolls?
No, he gets double the effect. So if it was 2d4 before, it's 44 now.
Or would it be 2d8?
No.
No.
The dice are generally doubled, not the size.
So yeah, give me your role here to sing this song, power chord.
I completely forgot I need to roll.
Could be bad. Ooh.
Ah. Close.
I get advantage. There we go.
Yep. See, that's the beauty of power chord's armor. He gets advantage.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's very, very helpful.
Yep. All right. So Haru, you get 44 forward, and whoever aids Haru gets +2. Haru, you're standing here on the back with Mirai and Nara. Landon's close by. Haru, did you? I think who was guarding Landon?
I was.
Okay, so you're there with your shield, like ready to maybe intercept any
incoming arrows and whatnot.
Cool. You can give me a defend roll. All right, hold 1. Mirai,
Landon, I shall defend ye with me life.
I think they get to a range where you think you might feel comfortable firing, and you see them pulling back on their bows right as you do, and it seems like you're probably going to fire almost at the same time. You don't know how anybody could hit anything from riding on the back of one of those things, but it looks like they're gonna try anyway.
I want to use the I want to use the scatter arrow, so it's like basically a flat cannon, I would think, the way it
Yep.
works. So
Yeah, scatter arrow. This arrow has a larger than normal head with etches running along its metal. When you fire this arrow, choose a number of targets adjacent to each other equal to 1d4 plus whiz. If you succeed on your volley attack, you deal your damage to all of those targets. That is most definitely a flak arrow. So give me give me a volley roll, and let's see how things go.
for my reference, like if I used it with blot out the sun, I'd only get the one arrow that has the effect, right?
Let me see here. Once per day, you may draw a special arrow from its confines. Let me read blot out the sun just to make sure. When you volley, you may spend extra ammo before rolling. For each point of ammo you spent, you can choose an additional target. It would only be one of the arrows, but you could still blot out the sun. It would just be the rest would be normal.
How many are there? The enemies?
You can
2.
see 2 riding on the backs of their hawks.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and use blot out the sun. Use 1 extra ammo.
Cool. Give me a volley roll.
Let's take my ammo off first. Volley with dex. Oh, I gotta actually roll it because they're set up to tell.
It'd be the worst friggin' sad time to roll double ones or something.
He did.
It's not double ones. So
Nice.
that is a success. Please roll 1d4 plus your whiz. Yeah, so you can hit up to 5 targets. There's only 4 out there, so you can hit both riders and both birds. Roll the damage for I guess.
So
Let's
I
see
guess
here.
they're both hit
We will have
for-
you roll 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 your damage for your scatter arrow, and then we will deal with blot out the sun.
D8 for wizards, a 10. Yeah, D8 for wizards. I don't think there's any modifiers on the bow. Yeah. Ooh, I get the charge back on the thing.
Whoa. Yeah, that's what happens on Archer's Arsenal. If you roll max on either a volley or damage roll, it regains your charge. Nice, the first time you use it.
So we see like the gun go pull back her bow, shoot, and then
Now-
like a little poof,
Do I
an
get to
arrow
roll
appears.
a separate damage for the...
No, the way it says it is you take the damage you rolled and apply it to all the targets you spent the extra ammo for. So it's going to be 8 damage to both knights and both birds, and then 8 damage to one other target of your choosing.
Okay, I'll probably go with... I'm gonna go with the bird, because it's probably not armored, and the knight probably is.
Okay, makes sense. Okay, so one of them... Time to start writing stuff down.
Mirai probably pulled it back like scatter arrow or something like that, because I have to. It's like the thing.
Do you fire both of them at once, or do you rapid fire it?
I probably rapid fire it because
Okay.
I think it'd be weird to fire both at once with the special arrow.
Okay. Right. So one bird takes 16. One takes 8. One of the knights takes 8. One of the other knights takes 8. Wow. So that's a devastating blow. I think you all see Mirai fire this arrow, and like the first arrow, I think is the scatter one. It sounds like it goes over and it explodes right in the midst of them, and you see just fragments scattering about, and you hear shrieks as the birds are peppered, and you hear like dings as the fragments bounce off the knight's armor, and they both birds shriek and kind of like flutter away from the explosion, and then one of the birds gets hit by a follow-up arrow, and definitely like spirals downward in the sky. Although after I think a drop of like 20 feet, you see it start to beat its wings and regain its composure. But like definitely a hefty shot. Looks like everybody there was somehow wounded.
Yep, and the arrow fired, the other arrow I spent counts as magical. Makes a difference.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, magical would get past magical protection. So,
Hey, Captain Wonder, turn right so I can get a shot at that bird.
yeah, Landon looks back, or I guess looks forward, and then he looks back over to Heru in Telemon. I think Telemon is probably just watching this, right?
Yeah.
It's very clear that
I'll
Landon is
definitely-
looking for advice, or I guess approval here.
I'm about ready to probably let loose a blast from this thing after I declare, I scream out the... Good?
Go ahead, we won't outrun them anyways.
We will destroy them! Suffer not the corrupt to live! And I'm going to to unlife, and I'm going to raise the book up and scream, "You are an affront to Deshret!" And I will try to declare exterminatus on the lead bird, and I'm going to unload with the Book of Corin.
Okay, Exterminatus, and give me a Book of Corin roll. As the ship begins to creak over towards the side, turn starboard, and he tries to line up a shot for Lotho just after this.
I'm using the +1 forward I got from my Discern Reality success, and I am rolling it.
All right.
Ooh. That
Nice.
looks good.
Okay, let me roll damage. This will take a brief second to
I think
figure
that's
out.
multiple targets. not
We
one.
might be having fried chicken on the rest of
Yes.
the adventure.
I don't want that fried chicken. It's undead.
So 44 plus, how much was that? 44 from Power Chord,
God, that first
plus
round.
1d4 from Holy from my quest.
So I guess you pick 3 targets.
only get one of these 44s. How do you want me to do this? Because only one of the 44s
We're going-
applies only to one.
So what we're going to do is we will roll Exterminatus after your primary roll.
Okay, that sounds
so
good.
roll your damage that you're going to be dealing to all of them.
44 plus 44 plus 1d4. Is there anything else that I get? I think that is it.
Oh God.
Yeah, that looks like it.
All right, roll
here
it.
we go.
Oh god, look at
Whoa.
all those D4s.
Whoa!
Jesus.
Roll another 44 for dramatic effect. Wow, one of them takes 33 points of damage. Both. You can choose. You can hit 3 targets, right?
I can hit 3 targets with.
What 3 targets are you hitting?
I'm going to nail both of the birds, and then I'm going to try and sweep the last beam across both riders, just for flourish, I guess.
Okay. All right. So.
Jesus.
The birds are flapping in, and there is definitely the twang of loosed arrows, but then there's just a massive as like a triple beam of like sunlight just fires straight from the book in Heru's outstretched hand, and both of the birds are instantly vaporized, and like just their charred remains begin to turn to ash and fall to the ground. One of the knights is cut in half and then turns to ash as he falls, and the other, somehow missing all of the blast, just starts tumbling through the air, straight downward. However, arrows were loosed. Can I get, I guess, at the last second, Fergus, one of them is heading towards Landon, so you can use your defend for that. But one of them is heading for Heru Deshret.
Actually,
So,
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Like, what's the amount of time that there might have been between them firing those arrows and them arriving?
Several seconds.
Is there a chance that I could have just, like, seen incoming fire and basically shouted really loudly at the arrows to
There
try
is a chance.
to redirect them?
There is definitely a chance. Do you want to I guess think quickly or act quickly and try to blast out a metal hurlant?
Yes, I would like to try that.
All right, which do you think it is?
Probably more of an acting quickly.
All right, so roll with the dex.
Well, no, because I'm already kind of in position to do this, so it's thinking quickly.
Okay, roll with it then.
Which is terrible, because my int is terrible. Whoops. Accidentally closed roll 20.
It's always the worst. I've done that a couple times. You know what I mean? You click on the tab and then you accidentally click X.
That is brutal.
Okay. Ooh, that's not good. So you're starting to like turn to shout at them, and you're not paying attention as to who is like, because remember, you were shouting directly backwards, and then Lotho asked the ship to turn right. So the ship is now turning.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, the ship is now turning right, and so in order to intercept the arrows, you are having to turn left. And you, in your enthusiasm and you're attempting to act quickly, you do not realize that someone is standing, not directly in front of your mouth, but like certainly within a blast cone of your metal hurlant. Let me see. That someone is most definitely Heru Deshret.
Oh boy.
Can you please roll your metal hurlant? I think you get advantage on that, don't you?
I do.
Yeah, roll metal hurlant with advantage.
Oh,
This
this is
is
not
bad.
good. This is bad.
This could be
very bad.
very bad. Isn't Metal
Oh.
Hurlet 1d10?
The damage. You just wanted the damage, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So roll the damage.
Yeah. You didn't have to roll the attack. You just got hit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, damage with advantage, right?
Yep.
Hang on. Do I have to use? I think I have to use my forward to damage, don't I?
If you have forward damage, you do
yeah.
have to use it.
Oh, boy.
Is
dear
that
Lord.
44?
That's 44.
Yes. Oh God.
So it's D10
Holy
plus
shit,
44.
man.
With
That's
advantage.
terrible.
With advantage means I can take the lower result on this, right? Because of
No.
75?
No.
No.
Oh god damn it!
Oh.
Oh wow!
Roll it
A little
again.
bit higher. 19.
Haru, how do you respond to 19 points of ignore armor damage?
Jesus.
Oh my god. How does this hit me? Just so I can tell you.
It is
exactly
a
how-
wave of sheer blasting force as Power Chord yells at you, and you begin to fly towards the edge of the ice crenellations. And if they were not there, you might have just automatically flown over the ship. You're going to have to give me a Defy Danger roll not to if you are still conscious.
Oh my god. Let me subtract the damage first. How much was it? 19?
19?
Yeah. Ouch.
Holy
Yeah,
shit.
9. Of course, cratering into the ground below is going to be your. It doesn't matter how much hit points you have.
Actually,
You know what?
for sonic damage, I kind of feel like.
I have treated your attacks as ignoring all armor before. So
Oh
I'm
yeah,
not
I was
changing
gonna
it.
say like if someone's wearing like a padded hat or something, that would probably help.
A padded hat.
Unfortunately,
Or
for you,
earmuffs.
look at Hiru's head and tell me he has a padded
Oh
hat.
yeah. No, I'm just saying. for
I have a
future
His head is
reference.
shaped like a
for you, Star.
tuning fork, ironically, which is going to have very funny effects right now.
I have a very, very important question to ask. How far along is my undeadness right now?
Fairly far along. Oh God, I think we see the flesh begin to ripple and then fly from Haru Deshret, maybe.
What I'm going to do is I am going to use. Oh God, this is really sad. But right now I'm going to use Bloody Aegis on my charisma and say that I basically I just clunk into the ground with my my two-handed staff and lock myself in as this sonic wave just pours over me and takes chunks out of my skin. But
Oh God. Yeah,
But,
so when you take damage, you can grit your teeth and accept the blow. If you do, you take no damage, but instead suffer a debility of your choice.
so yeah, I think chunks of my skin are going to go flying off as I basically lock in there and try to hold on to the ship.
Oh, and there
Sonic
is
rays go
a
over me.
horrible ringing sound just through your entire body, but most notably through your horns, which are vibrating just awfully, to the point where I think you probably throw up. But as I said before, there was also an incoming arrow, Haru Deshret. I think I think you might still be in a position to defy the danger, but it's going to be probably at a negative. What happens when you look up, bits of your flesh having been ripped off of your skin by pure sonic force, and you see an arrow heading straight for your face?
I just think to myself, in a very, very connected way, that Deshret is flowing through me and letting me survive this and destroy his enemies. There's no way he will let an arrow hit me, and I will give a brief prayer to Deshret and try to defy with wisdom of all things.
Okay.
I don't know if that's gonna work.
That honestly sounds more like charisma to me, but I'll let you roll with wisdom. Well, for your sheer willpower, and belief.
I'm gonna get hit in the head with an arrow. This is the funniest one to botch. Oh no, partial success.
Okay. Let me look at what items you're holding and what items may tumble overboard. Well, the Axis Mundi is on your back,
Oh.
and its strap has been eradicated by the Sonic
Numerous
Force. You were also holding the Book of Corn in your hand. You have an ugly choice here, Harry Deshret. You can take the damage, or you can grab onto the ice crenellations and try to fling yourself down, but you will not have time to grab one of these two items as it flies overboard.
If that is my destiny to suffer for the glory of Deshret, I shall. I will take the damage.
All right. Roll. This is. Roll D8 plus plus 3 with advantage.
Ooh boy, here we go.
Well, there it is.
You take 11, and it has 2 armor piercing.
So it's a straight up 11. Ouch.
Oh God! So I think this arrow goes right through. I think
Your
maybe
head.
I think maybe you open your mouth in surprise, and it goes in through your mouth and comes out through the back of your neck, and it just splatters into the deck behind you, with a bit of Haru Deshret's remaining flesh on it, like pinning it to the deck. And Haru's like,
Haru thinks to himself through it that perhaps his prayer would have actually ended in his death, as the arrow is very painfully keeping him from flying off right now.
So, I guess Fergus, you're gonna have to make a decision here. How do you spend your one hold for the arrow that is currently going towards Landon?
Redirect an attack from the thing you defend to yourself.
Okay, can you please roll the same damage roll that Haru just rolled? See how well you catch this on your shield. Lucky. So 9 with 2 points of piercing.
I shall defend thee, Landon. Get this ship out of here.
So I think you raise your shield, and it doesn't pierce the shield, but I think it skips off and smacks into your shoulder. And most of its momentum was probably eaten by the shield, but still a good chunk of it is residing in your shoulder, and it's very painful. Landon looks back and yeah, he nods a little bit white-faced at what would have probably been a shot directly to his back. In Lotho, the ship turns 90 degrees, and you see
Where'd they go?
chunks of bird feathers.
My God.
And then you hear a scream of a bird as a rider comes up right in front of you, Lotho. Like no more than 10 feet off the starboard side of the ship.
I will fire.
Okay, all right. Give me a volley roll.
Oh, hey, Star, do I get an XP
Jesus
for
Christ.
that failure?
What?
Do I get an XP for failing that Defy Danger?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Any roll.
Well,
I know there's damage.
damage,
Okay,
yeah.
If it's a
I
2d6
was actually
roll,
going to let you roll that with advantage, Lotho, but you don't need to.
Yeah.
Okay, so damage on this thing is pretty nutso.
It's like
Oh,
we're
nice.
having fried
Okay,
chicken
that was-
and rotisserie today, if they were leaving.
Yes.
So this is gonna be. Let me write this down. Um, D10 plus 5 with 3 piercing and advantage.
Nice. 15.
Okay, so yeah, this guy gets skewered,
Clunk.
and I think you see. Oh, it's like chunk, 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 and you fire
Oh,
like
yeah,
a
it's auto.
shit. Yeah, you fire a shit ton of these mini javelin things right out, and they start impaling the bird's chest, and you hear more shrieks, and I think you probably nail this thing like 15 times, and you hear a shriek, and it smacks into the side of the deck, and then it begins to tumble. But as it does, a red gauntleted hand comes down on the side of the deck and begins to pull itself up onto the side of the ship.
Is it closer to me or closer to the aft?
Closer to you, but you have you have the thing between you and the hand, so somebody else probably has as good of a chance of getting to interact as you.
All right,
You're behind the ballista.
I'll scream out after I'm done shouting while I'm firing. They're boarding!
So, Fergus, I think you're probably in the best position to potentially deal with this the soonest. You're up here, just on top of the aft castle, and this guy is starting to pull himself up right around over there. And you see this red armored knight with it looks like nothing but a sword at his side start to pull himself up on top of the ship.
I wish to run down and chop his hand off.
That he's pulling himself out with.
Okay. Let's see here. Give me I guess give me a hack and slash. But we're probably going to be ignoring his health if you succeed.
Hack and slash. Why am I rolling 1d20? 2d6 plus. I almost typed 1d20. 11.
I can imagine it. As he's
Okay.
doing this, Tell turns to me. Where are the engines, Fergus? They're right there! Then he probably chops it.
Yeah, so what happens is you rush forward, axe at the ready, and he's just pulling himself up, and you slice his forearm like clean through, and you hear a kind of a raspy grunt beneath the helmet, and he falls off the ship, leaving just his sword. That was the last we saw of the Sky Knights. Oh boy. So I think, Fergus, you're standing there, and Lotho's looking out from over the ballista. And
Are there any more?
Do you see any more?
Herodeshrat's got flesh flopping to the ground.
Drew's
Harry,
going to stand
are
up
you
looking.
alright?
Drew's going to touch the various parts of his skin missing and say, I do not feel so alright. I'll look at Power Chord with kind of a snort and
Landon just
say,
says, "You don't look very alright."
once I get to my people, I believe this can be reversed safely, but I need to hold on for a little while longer.
I hate to say it, but it looks like you have some sort of skin condition.
Ruse is gonna.
I don't know that they can
eye
fix
in that
that.
direction at Landon says that you would be surprised what Destret can do. There's nothing he cannot. And then I'll turn to Telemon, but until I can reach the people of Destret, perhaps when I go to negotiate with the Minotaurs, you can perform that trick I've seen you do on me. I'm gonna look to Telemon, or seen you do before, to make things look tidier.
Let me see if I can help ye, Haru.
I wish to do lay on hands on Haru.
Power Chord is gonna say, "Oh, I think I need to check on something in the cargo hold. Yeah, I'm gonna go there now. I'm just gonna go below deck."
You hear a little bit of screeching as he's turning off his amplifiers, and he's quickly making his way down
I
below
don't know
decks.
if this will help ye, but mayhap it will.
I wish to spend one hold to heal Herodeshrat.
All right.
Well, that's awesome, man. Thank you.
Lotho everybody else is doing that, you notice a
Oh, sweet.
glittering on the deck.
Yes. Is it by the glove?
Yep.
I will go check it out.
It is a very shiny short sword.
Hmm.
It looks like it has an almost white blade, and it's the metal of its guard and its hilt is made out of some weird red metal.
Ooh.
And it's got a red silk handle, or wrapping around the handle, and it looks like it has. I think your eyes start to bulge as you start counting the number of gems on it. It has 10 small, fine gems across the guard, and all of them are a different color and cut.
Ooh, okay. Oh, this looks nice. I will put it in my belt carefully.
All right. So I think Graves emerges from down below and he says, "What the hell is happening up here? I go down for 2 seconds to make sure everybody's ready for the coming battle, and I hear explosions and it. What's that smear on the side of the ship?"
We killed some bird riders.
He's going to look and say, possibly me.
I think like you see his jaw just drop as he stares at
So
you.
I heal Haru for
Death
7 points of
apparently
damage.
had some
Thank
Yeah.
you.
bird
Appreciate
riders
it.
of sorts. From
Yeah, you heal Haru 7 points of damage. His flesh does not return though.
Yeah, I still look all.
This
kinda
is
jacked up.
beyond my meager powers, Haru.
Or not
You
to say,
definitely
I do feel
realize
better
what this
for-
is, Fergus. You've seen this
Aye.
before firsthand.
You didn't tell me you were suffering as well.
You
Hero.
too, eh?
I was not certain until now. Unfortunately, I had suspected, but I'm going to kind of look down and say that my people can take care of this along with the other condition, but we need to reach them. Telemon, could you do something about my appearance before I meet with the other Minotaurs at least, so I do not frighten them?
I do not know. There is a spell that can do this, but I do not think it is in my repertoire, as it were.
No,
I can
I've
make
seen
you
you.
cleaner, I can make you invisible, or I can reshape you entirely, but I do not have much to change your appearance.
Yes, that's exactly what we need. Talking to them with a disembodied voice.
I just thought perhaps tidying me up a bit, making his flesh look perhaps more as scars than as rotted. Perhaps that would buy me less fear when I meet with them.
It's okay, Hero. You now have some beauty marks like me. I'll bring back my
You say that,
My hood
and I
a little
think
bit.
his ear falls off.
yeah. I'll bring back my my hood a little bit, and I have this deep scar that runs back by my ear, and part of my ear is missing. Ah, look, see, matching ears now.
Rue's gonna look at that and look at his ear that fell off and pick it up and just stare at it for a moment. Notably, next time you see Haru, he's gonna have his own ear on a necklace for the moment.
Wow.
Okay.
Popcalypse now or whatever. Yeah.
All right. So the rest of the first day of the adventure goes uneventfully, and I think we can safely assume that we set sail, and leave Arkval behind us. The horizon makes its way out westward over the shore and eventually out over the Mirror Sea.
If anyone sees Lily at this time, he's probably very aghast at the sight of the ocean.
Yeah. I think she's probably still speaking in gibberish, and Telemon, you're trying to help her learn language, but it's a very long process.
Yeah, it's not gonna be any kind of quick thing.
So you all wake up on the morning of the second day, and there's a distinctly different sound and smell to the ship before you realize that the ship itself has changed. And you realize that gone are the blackened scars and tears from the ship of the night before, and now kind of out in the sun, you have this perfectly functioning, looks almost brand new airship.
We have a where ship?
Yeah,
knows? Who knows?
Airship. I like that.
The Airship.
Oh, who cleaned the ship?
I think Landon looks about and he says, "It's been doing this at night and in the morning. I haven't really understood why. Ever since it got struck by that bolt of lightning by the silver wind."
Did I see anything odd when I detected visual evil alignment around the ship? Just out of curiosity.
No.
Okay, that's a good thing to know. Probably not a demonic ship then.
Probably.
It is very strange.
Yeah, the ship is very different. And I think, does everybody remember the fact that there was a secret compartment that had been discovered by Grimna? That was where the silver scale armor had been discovered inside of a chest.
I remember that.
During your voyage, do you guys, I guess, take the opportunity to either go... I know people have some books and whatnot, or things they wanted to do. Do you guys take the opportunity to go through those, or the contents of this chest that was found in the secret compartment?
Yeah, I definitely would. But I was under the impression that there was the stuff that was in that chest supposedly. I guess we haven't looked at it yet because I thought that it was just the armor that was in the chest.
Nope. No, I described it as being at the bottom beneath an old cloak.
Yeah, I think I would look at it at least.
So the chest is
I'd
filled
probably be
with...
most interested in trying to figure out why the ship is changing at night, if that's a thing I can investigate.
The chest is filled with old scrolls, which you unroll and find that they look like cargo manifests, very old, or old maps of very weird and far off places. Most of them islands. Not all of them in good condition. Quite a few just random notes in here. There are a few logbooks, fairly mundane. Nothing really catches your interest of those, except for one book, which, Telemon, you cannot make out the writing of. It's in a language you do not understand, and I don't think you've ever seen before.
That's saying something. I know quite a few languages.
Yeah. Also in here is a skull.
Yeah.
A very large skull.
Very large.
Like, how large? Like, we're talking like monster large or like minotaur large?
Minotaur large.
It's my skull! Infinitely curious.
So yeah, you've got this book. It looks like a logbook, but it's written in a language you don't understand. What do you do with it, Telemon?
I would probably, if I don't understand it, Landon seems well traveled. I'd probably ask him, see if he understands any of it.
He shrugs his shoulders and he says, "I have no idea what this is. I've never seen anything of its like."
Why don't you give it to the girl who speaks gibberish? She might read it.
I think you pass it over to Lily, and she looks as dumbfounded as
Like,
Landon.
if she can, she couldn't tell us what it said.
Yeah. She looks as dumbfounded as Landon.
I play a good game of charades. She might be able to tell us something.
Lily just shrugs her shoulder and just thinks you gave her another book that she can't read.
So what do you do?
let's see. I'd probably see if Hero can read it, because do Minotaurs have their own language? Is that a thing?
The tribes of the Minotaurs each have their own written languages. Upon showing it to Heru Deshret, I think Heru, your breath catches in your throat as you realize that this is not only a Minotaur tribal language, but the sacred text, or I guess the sacred language of Deshret himself.
Oh, what
Like
does it say?
only his order writes in it. I will be glad to tell you.
Very interesting. Yeah, definitely going to.
So most
immediately think
of it seems to be weathered and old, pages decaying. It looks to be incredibly old, but you are able to find a couple pages towards the end that are legible. Would you like to read them out loud, or would you like me to?
You can go ahead.
All right.
Probably the easiest way to do this.
An aged journal, the 28th of Green Descending, year 641. I will point out that this is 1 year after I guess the present. So we will begin. It has been months since the hope of the world died, yet I have only now found the time to put pen to paper. This contraption of Telemon's is the last thing remaining of him, his ashes long since scattered to the wind. It is the only semblance of a home we have now, and even then it is always under threat. Last night the fabled Ardanian Sky Knights made a run at us as we crossed out of Keldum, heading northeast. The half-elf was the first to spot them on the horizon, but soon all of us could see the impossibly giant forms of their skyhawks as they closed in from above and below. Yesterday we were 8, and now we are but 4, and of course a child. I do not hold it against them, however. By all accounts, the Sky Knights of Ardane are one of the oldest, most respected and honored orders of warriors in the land, and it is likely they do not even know precisely who we are. With all of the talk of the failed rebellion in Ardane, I am now sure that Telemon's hunch was correct, and that King Keljor has indeed fallen under his control. I never had the chance to see Ardane before I came here. By then it had already been lost to Akoreth, who even now must slumber beneath their mountains. It is a beautiful but harsh land, not altogether unlike Katalo, with its nearly endless mountain ranges and its snowy, barren peaks. Originally, occasionally we pass over what seems to be a long-forgotten fort deep in the recesses of the mountains. But every time we do so, we hold our breaths, waiting to see if it is indeed abandoned, or if one of them is still actually garrisoned by the knights in red armor. We brought back hardly anything concerning Ardane, and it was yet one of our many, many failings. We believed that we could do things alone, but if we had known about the Red Cloak Rebellion, if we had gone to their aid, we might have found the allies we so desperately needed so many weeks ago. Even with allies, it would have only changed so much, however. Imagine my and Telemon's horror to find that we had come back too soon. Far too soon. 40 years too soon. Eventually he put it together. He said that something had gone wrong with the portal, that he hadn't accounted for all of the variables, that we had not been sent to our destination, but a point in his life. I had not known then that Telemon was far older than he seemed. His own memories of his old life before his rebirth were vague at best, but he assured me that we should be grateful it was only 4 decades and not 8 that we must wait to save the world. Of course, not all of us agreed with his decision to take no parts in the events of the world. The idea that we could change so much, having gone so far back, was greatly tempting, but I soon came to see Telemon's reasoning. If we changed anything, we would no longer know when the moment was to strike, and surely change the future for good, and stop the horrors to follow. If only we had known then what we know now, however. The Salamander, the vile traitor, whom I will not honor by committing his name to history, bided his time and waited well. He had been the foremost proponent of the idea to simply rewrite all of history going forward. But when it became clear to him that the majority of the crew instead trusted Telemon's wisdom over his, he must have begun plotting. The scorches of his final betrayal still blacken the deck above. I will admit, it was not easy settling in for such a long wait. 40 years is a long, long time to drift about the world upon an airship, staying as much out of the way of people and history as possible, especially when we knew what was to come. If we had known the consequences of our actions and even coming back here, however, that the gate, even once closed by its guardians, would not stay closed forever, I am sure even Telamon would have changed his mind. By coming back, we weakened the seals which those desert priests have tended for centuries, and only the crystal we sought had the power to seal the rift which we came. After decades of wandering aimlessly, fighting just to stay alive long enough to deliver Telamon to his destiny, we finally arrived at the appointed day. But time had ravaged our small, loyal band, and we were no longer the same. The pirate, haughty, confident man that he was, obsessed with gold and promise of payment, had been forever changed by the death of his lover. Indeed, after she was taken from us, he became someone else almost entirely. The glint of greed and ambition left his eyes, and all that remained was the light of a fire of determination and justice. From that day forward, he became the foremost devoted to our cause, aside from myself. And where once I saw nothing but an untrustworthy rogue, I soon came to find a loyal companion. We lost quite a few of our number in the years waiting for our moment, and those that we did not lose were none the better for it. I myself, once the greatest example of Deshreth's chosen, became aged and weakened. Only Telamon, one of the youngest among us in body when we arrived in this place, was in his prime when we finally turned our wheel towards Arkval to find the man who would doom the world. In the hindsight of time, it was over before it began. Surprise helped us not, despite having managed to figure out where he was going to be long before we struck. The priest, although taken aback by our sudden appearance and the appearance of Telamon, was nevertheless prepared. If only we had known about that damn scepter. If only I had been able to aid Telamon in his final moments. But it was not to be. I was left there, staring powerlessly as I watched the one remaining hope for the world die on the road to Sarvarad. Telamon, despite his pleas and his arguments, could not dissuade the Black Priest. In the end, it came to one of the most fearful and terrible duels I have ever seen, even as brief as it was. It speaks to the power of our foes that the priest was not simply incinerated by Telamon's first blast. He earned his color well, after all. Some sort of charm or necklace protected him long enough to get in close, and even with his skillful blade, Telamon was far less a swordsman than he was a mage. All it took was one grasp from that foul, cursed skeletal hand, and the life began to drain out of Telamon Daris before I could even blink. But the wizard was not done, and while he still had life in his bones, it was a truly terrifying power which he unleashed upon the priest. In the end, they both lay dead. When I could finally move, after the scepter had finally slipped from the charred remains of Regan the cleric, I saw that Telemon's eyes were lifeless, and no amount of Deshreth's power was enough to save him. The crystal, which we had come back for, had been destroyed in the struggle, and so too were our hopes of stopping the coming apocalypse. But not all was lost. The son of Telamon still lived, and I vowed that I would protect the boy, the little Darien Daris, with all the life left in my old bones. I knew we could not stop the future from arriving anymore, but perhaps his child would have a chance at undoing our mistakes. And thus we come to where we are now, a single ship in search of a place which is only rumor, little more than myth, even to the high mages of Tivanar. Midnight City, they call it. Rumored to be the home of the greatest order of mages the world has ever seen, or will ever know. Little is known about it, save for the fact that its defenses are supposedly impenetrable, its walls said, absurdly, to be miles high. All I can hope is that perhaps there young Darien will be safe, and perhaps there he could learn the trade of his father. Although no one knows of its location, I believe Deshreth's guidance will take us there. We have already been journeying for many, many weeks, the few of us who are left, and I feel that we must be drawing close. Provided the Hawk Riders of Ardain do not catch up with us again, we should arrive over the desolate shores of Cabris within the next day or two. The winds are strong up here and do much to impede our travel, but they will not stop us. I'm not sure why Deshreth has guided us here. All know Cabris to be nothing but a frozen, lifeless rock with no cities to its name. but nevertheless, we will move onward, for we must. At the bottom, signed Heru, last son of Deshret.
Oh boy.
He was reading that aloud, right?
Yeah, I would have read it to the group, shared it with everyone.
So, who wants to jump overboard first? That sounds pretty grim, guys.
Not as if mistakes were made, but this would allow us to correct them. No? And I'm going to kind of hold it out.
641. A year?
Perhaps, as soon as we get the supplies, we should head to my people and change our plans.
Well, from that, it sounds like you take us back to the wrong time. Wonder why that is.
Not know.
Perhaps when we get to the place where you have made your incorrect jump in time, I'll kind of pause and think how to put it into words. Perhaps I can assist you in making sure we do not make the same mistake again.
I think inside the skull, the large skull with the clearly broken Minotaur horns, someone finds a note written not in Minotaur but in common. It says, "Here are the remains of Heru Deshret. He tried to save the world."
I'm going
Oi,
to
Haru.
the skull.
Look, Hero, you could ask yourself questions.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
That's
That's
exactly
true.
why. That's exactly why I was taking the skull. Actually, I don't have it ready at the moment, but I'm going to take a look at it, and I'm going to say that I should hold on to this. Perhaps it can help us at a critical moment. Did any of that make sense to anyone else? At least the details that we have not yet
Perhaps.
encountered.
Tell's gonna stare at the name Dari and say, "No, it couldn't be." But he's probably not. He's not gonna say that aloud. But like, he's just thinking really hard about that fact right now.
Need to make sure we do not repeat our errors.
Regan had the crystal then. Last I heard, it was still in the tower.
Who is with this Regan? And perhaps, if you need assistance,
A
we can get a
cleric.
high priest.
But I thought him dead. Died in a swallowed by a gigantic monster. The last I saw him, a demon of sorts.
I'm gonna look at myself and say that being dead is not what it used to be.
So this is the. Where did this ship originally come from then? If this is the ship that came from here, went to the past, and is now here again.
Boy, sounds like you created it, Mon.
News to me.
It sounds as if mistakes were made.
I think notably, Telemon, there was a point previously when you were using ritual to try to come up with the knowledge to maintain the ship, and it would have required the people with the knowledge to do it. But perhaps it's not too far of a stretch to think that a similar thought might have occurred to you beforehand. But maybe, I don't know, maybe before the ship was made.
This is. Damn.
Drew will turn and say that
My brain is melting. No, God. I wonder what this Cabris is. Why they wanted to go there. Or I guess we wanted to go there, as it were.
Do you know who these red cloaks were? Perhaps between them and the might
The
of my
riders
people.
we just fought. That would be them.
Nods and says that the rebellion, though, there are some that apparently are not evil.
May be true, but in what time is the question.
Yeah, the rebellion might be underway now or 6 months from now.
Haru nods and
6
says
months from now or 40 years ago, it's hard to say.
Maybe we start it.
sending us back still seems like the course of action, but perhaps we should take precautions to make sure that the same thing does not happen. I'm going to pause for a second
I'm
and say,
unsure how the ritual is supposed to work when we get there.
perhaps you can send us back one at a time, try multiple times. If even one of us reaches our destination, we can be the one to fix the problem, rather than all going through it once and finding ourselves in the same time.
Seem to be they complain of the forces being depleted, about being too weak. Splitting up the group, I think, is going to help that fact.
Are you men graves? Come with me if you want to live.
Yeah, kind of what I was thinking. Drew will look around and say that perhaps the High Priest of Deshret can assist you and correct your errors, Telemon.
Not know. I know little of Rodovin, but I had to go there, and that the crystal will be required in its current state. But other than that, I know little of the place.
Who told you this?
That is a very auspicious question, Case.
Perhaps an answer is warranted, I'll say as I look to Telemon.
The man who gave me this was a wizard who I apparently knew from previous time. A friend of mine, or so he said. I have no memory of the man. By the name Andarian, which I find coincidentally close to the name Darian Daris. I know little of either, which is a question in and of itself.
Well, do you have a wife that you haven't told us about by chance? Or secret lover?
I've had my dalliances now and then. Of a wife
No children you know of, then?
that I know of, no. However,
So,
things are kind of strange with my memory and time, as it were.
probably does happen in that 40-year time period that the text spoke of.
Deshret sees all and sees through time and still directs us
The
to your
text
original
speaks of
destination,
the
Telemon.
half-elf. The girl below, maybe?
Maybe.
Do not know. Yet to be seen. But a lot to think about.
Perhaps we should redouble the efforts to provide safety for the captain's assistant.
When was the last time this Deshret character gave you a ways up to where to go? Has it been a while, or you gonna find that out soon?
I think as you look at that, I'm going to look down at my weapon and I'm just going to kind of stare into the blade and see which way the reflection glints.
Give me a roll for guidance.
Maybe a 10.
There is a strong glint towards the west. Nothing more substantial.
Deshret still says our way is to the west. I still believe our way is to meet with my people, convince them that we need their help in this matter, and change the fate that we see here. And I'll hand Telemon the book briefly to kind of point like some various passages, and I'll realize he can't read it. I'll take it back.
I was gonna say, like, that doesn't do me a lot of good. Regardless, it appears by the journal that we have already tried this once, at the very least.
Aye.
Perhaps your way of waiting for the years, though I saw wisdom in it, was a mistake. Perhaps we should have moved immediately. The
I do
further
not
back,
think
the better.
I tried to go to that time in the past. Sounds as if I made a mistake.
Perhaps if we find ourselves in those shoes again, it says here that we waited and did nothing for years, and we thought this would be the correct course of action, but it apparently was not. If we find ourselves that far back again, I believe we should go on the offensive immediately.
So, sounds like we have to kill this Regan, the evil death priest guy in the past, correct?
Regan was a cleric I met, one of my original companions. He seemed honest enough at the time, you know, quite true to his cause. What that cause may have been is more up to debate.
Why would he want to see you dead, then, Telemon, who was an ally?
I don't know that Regan made a deal with death, do I? Several, in fact. I don't think I know about any of them.
No.
He served a very secretive master. I knew little of him. Perhaps it was part of his goals.
So, why don't we pick a time for when you think he might have started to go bad and go to that time?
Not know. There was
Yes.
much time on the island we even now go to. But
Oh. And was that before everything went bad?
I would think so. Could be. I do believe he served the same master then.
Maybe that would be a good time to intervene, as it would, when you guys were on the island.
Times were not the best on the island. I remember little of it. I remember something of a book. I was much
Brunad.
older.
Did you know him before that? Perhaps another time and place would be more appropriate.
I remember little before that. I was an older man. I remember something of a book. Maybe I am as I am now. Most of my memories went with it. So most of my current memories stem from after that period. Brief
Perhaps
time
he-
in Arkval, a brief time up in Arnhen, the creation of the guild, a few weeks that
book
followed
makes-
therein.
This book makes no mention of any attempt to contact your older self. Perhaps the two of you combined could correct things
Yeah,
in the
no.
past.
How
It
were
mentions
you?
just, like events interfering with each other. Like there's record of paradox and such things that could both just cease to exist, could not be unheard of.
Like scratching my head. How were you older in the past?
I remember a book, something about memories. No, after the fact, I don't remember this book. I do not know what happened to it.
Weird. Well, hopefully we'll learn more when we reach the portal thing you're speaking of, and if you know, or if you can figure out how it works, maybe we can continue this discussion then.
Part
Probably
of
be
me
the
fears
best.
what we'll find when we get there. I was told I would have little trouble, but race of lizard folk, I believe, inhabit the area.
Oh, I hate lizards. By the way, just out of curiosity, do you know what this is? And I pull out the short sword and I show it to him. Don't you have some way of telling what certain things are? This looks like a very
Would
very
that
strange
be the
sword.
blade that the knight dropped?
Yes, right on our deck there. He chopped off his hand good.
Short sword, well decorated, lots of gems.
Blade is clearly mithril,
Oh, it's
Ooh.
a blade.
but the handle is clearly some metal you have never seen before. The handle, it's a red metal.
I mentioned blade is mithril, very very fine blade. I have one myself, but the handle, I have not recognized it.
It
As
also
far as-
tingles beneath your touch.
Okay, I was gonna say, yeah, it feels a little weird. So maybe you can. I run my hand over it again and do the open sesame to it, like you do so well.
I would take a few minutes to examine it. Perhaps yes, I can do that.
You'll actually need the knight.
Oh, okay. If you let me with the night, I can tell you in the morning. If otherwise
Beware!
not.
We do not want to carry a blade on board.
Alrighty, well, You give it back though, right?
Probably.
Okay.
I have a little need of a short sword myself.
All right, so does anybody
I
have
give it over to
anything
him.
else they want to do before night falls on the second day of the journey?
Elle
Alright.
has much to think about, as it were.
So Telemon, I think
I'm
you're
gonna
up.
pray and rearrange my spells again.
Okay, Telemon, you're up pretty late in your cabin. I'm still working on the layout. It's a little bit difficult coming up with a custom one, but I've got the first deck done, and I'm kind of slowly working on it. Hopefully, if the ship manages to survive and actually get used in the campaign, it will actually be a useful map. And hopefully the ship won't burn down before I'm done building it.
You'll finish the map and they'll show it to us, and it'll burn down the very next episode.
Yes.
Kind of glad I got rid of that salamander fellow. I'm kind of glad I put the wand of fire extinguishing on the ship.
Yeah.
That may have been a little bit self-serving. So you're in your cabin, I think, meditating over the sword. It's very clearly magical. It feels fairly chaotic to you. Over the course of the night, you discover that this blade does something fairly random every time it strikes something.
Is TeamSpeak breaking up for anyone else?
Yes.
Very badly.
Still breaking up?
I can hear you, but it's
Yeah,
very
I got a weird
quality.
saying.
Let's give it a minute. If it doesn't clear up, we'll have to go to the backup server.
Alrighty. Bio
I'm gonna
break
pop
over
over to the backup right now.
It actually-
like an alternate tab.
Sounds like it's cleared up.
Nah, you're still like it to me,
Yeah,
Star.
still a little bit.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna head over there too.
I don't know why this was-
Everybody has the address for the backup, right? We've all been there before.
It's the twins one, right?
Yeah.
That's what I titled it.
I don't think I
Over there.
did.
I'm gonna connect to a new tab.
User disconnected from your channel.
Anyone need the
Jay
backup
said he
channel?
didn't have
Jay?
this one.
Yeah, I need it.
I'll drop it
Get it
in
for
the D20.
Oh, you already got it? Nice.
No, I don't.
It's the password twin, I think, right?
Password's twin.
Whoops, I actually messaged at the star. Hold on a second. There you go. And the password is twin.
User entered your channel. User disconnected from your channel.
All right, everybody.
Okay.
Thank
Okay,
you
over
for
here.
having this again. Thank you for having a backup server.
This is
very handy.
Yeah, very handy.
User joined your channel.
Everybody present?
Believe so.
Alright.
I believe so.
Chase here?
Yep.
Looks like it.
All
There you go.
So this blade accomplishes kind of a random effect every time it strikes forward. It is indeed got a mithril blade. It's got some sort of metal. I think you've probably heard of it, rumored to have come from the sky as its hilt. It's got 10 unique colored gems on its guard, and when this blade strikes something, you roll 1d10. On a 10, the blade ignores all armor or protection, and damage is rolled with advantage. On a 9, the blade, whatever the blade strikes bursts into fire. On an 8, the wielder gains health equal to the damage dealt. On a 7, whatever the blade strikes turns invisible. On a 6, the wielder sees briefly into the thoughts of that which is struck. On a 5, whatever the blade strikes turns to stone. On a 4, everyone looking in the direction of the blade is temporarily blinded. On a 3, whatever the blade strikes loses all memory of the last 24 hours.
Wow.
On a 2, whatever the blade strikes turns to gold. And on a 1, the blade passes harmlessly and does no damage.
I'm just gonna start striking things left and right
I
for
was gonna
gold.
say that. I just start hitting like every rock I saw until maybe I'll get lucky.
Become
The
gold.
blade is
Become
chipped and
gold.
dented
Become
now.
gold. You break the blade. Shit.
Yeah, I
That's
think it
probably what would happen.
User
But
entered
my
your
God,
probably
my
has to
earnings
be
are
an
money.
animate thing that I strike with it, or some kind of thing that
The
is-
wording is specifically something, a creature.
Hostile or creature.
in the
Okay.
roll 1d10.
You are just
Lotho
gonna start
begins
buying,
breeding
like-
mice.
But
Yes.
you're gonna buy fields of sheep and just start running around
Whacking them.
He might.
Today in the news, halfling mass murders hordes of sheep.
Yes.
User
If
entered
10%
your
of the
channel.
sheep turn into gold, by God, that's a good deal.
User disconnected from your channel.
Cool.
So, I will,
Does anyone else just have a picture of Lotho stabbing chickens, and then what happens when you stab chickens in
User in
Legend
your
of
channel.
Zelda?
Oh god. Chicken anger. Chicken revenge.
Anybody else get that picture? Because I did.
I'm picturing Lotho turning into Goldfinger in a fantasy setting now.
Just don't nick yourself
Yeah,
with the
I
dagger.
have to say, I picture Lotho tripping over, nicking himself, and becoming either stone or gold.
so, do you go to give this to Lotho?
Yeah. I would let him have it.
Okay, so you leave your cabin and you go and find Lotho's and you knock on the door. There's no answer.
Lotho, are you in there?
Still no answer.
Huh. I open the door.
Yeah, he's got a smaller cabin than you. He's not inside though.
Huh. I think I would go look for him. It's not a very big ship.
So where do you go look? Like down below decks, down above decks?
Where am I in reference to the deck right now?
You're down on deck 2. It's pretty much like there's the
I'm
top
assuming
deck.
there's a top deck, like
the
a
middle
crew deck,
deck.
and like the engine room.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Crew deck is separated into like quite a few different compartments. You could just go from compartment to compartment knocking on doors. There is a small galley area.
What time is it?
It's at night. It's probably like 10:45.
I think I would check the galley first, and then I would check my room.
Your room. So you check the galley.
Assuming I
You
didn't
don't-
just leave my room, which I might have.
You did. That was where you were. But you go and check the galley. He's not there. Where do you go next? I think you see Rylan in the galley sipping on some ale.
Probably ask him, like, have you seen Lotho?
You mean the little
Yes. The
halfling? No, I haven't seen him.
Not in his room. And knowing his tendencies, I think we might want to find him.
He just kind of looks at you.
He's a
Should I let Haru know?
could be. I haven't seen him either. I think I would check the deck next. It seems.
So I think Haru is probably up on deck, meditating, like out beneath the winds. I would imagine. Is that something you would do, Haru?
No, yeah, I'd definitely be out there and enjoying the sunshine. But how is another day?
No, this
passed,
is
by the
actually
way?
night. This is actually night.
Has a day passed since our encounter? At least a full day.
This is the same day. This is when
Okay.
you would be meditating afterwards.
Yeah, definitely. I'll be out there and.
Fergus and Mirai can be up here if they want, if they don't think they would be in bed, but you do not see Lotho.
Oh,
Power Cord might be out here too.
I don't know if it's cause for concern as of yet, but
I'd probably be sleeping.
I haven't found Lotho yet. I think Mirai would probably be like, she'd be on watch probably if Hero
Mhm.
isn't on that job right now.
Okay, yes, you see her up on the aft castle.
Do we have?
Do you approach Haru?
Do we have a crow's nest? Is that a thing? I guess we don't.
No.
I don't see one. Yeah, I approach Hero.
So you hear the footsteps of Telemon behind you.
Hello, Hero.
Looked at
Have you
Telmon
seen Lotho this evening?
I've not seen him. I assumed he was downstairs.
Not in his cabin. He gave me this sword to identify, but he's not there now.
I'm going to look and say, perhaps he's trapped in the walls. The ship seems to change shape frequently. Perhaps we should listen.
Quality, not so much shape, I would say, but yes.
Well, I do know that compartments appear and disappear at will. Perhaps he crawled into one and then it disappeared.
I found that unlikely.
Baru nods and says that, well, where else would he go? Clearly, I do not think he was of unsound mind and decided to exit
Oh, yeah.
the side
Looks
of
like
the
that
ship.
now, doesn't it? Because it's nighttime.
Yeah, most notably, we're on this version of the ship. Although the deck is in one piece.
Right, so I don't have to worry about holes in the floor, as it were. At least on the main deck. But,
Teleban, I have a theory of this ship that it actually exists in 2 times at the same time. I also have a theory that if we were to do something to it in its daylight form, we would find that same effect aged into the nighttime form. I do not know what we can do with this, and I plan to test it in the morning.
perhaps.
I also
Things
plan to
about
test.
these ships.
I also plan to test it at night. I comment as I take out my my sai and I carve a symbol of Deshret into the board. I'm gonna see what's all there in the morning.
Nice. So Haru goes to carving a symbol of Deshret. What do you do, Tell?
I check the engine room. Or the captain.
Okay, so you go downstairs. I think you look up and you can see Nara is up on the helm. Landon doesn't appear to be up at this hour.
Yes. Okay.
I'll holler to Telemann as he starts stepping away. I'll scream and say, ask Power Core to sing a song of something that Lothos might hear. I'm sure that would get his attention
I
if
would
he's
wake
somewhere
everyone on
on
the ship up and probably make them all angry at him and us.
Angry at him? Perhaps deserved if he is hiding. I'll just kind of laugh as I go back to leaning back on the stairs.
Referring more to you, myself, and Power Cord. Yeah.
So do you go down like all the way to the engine room?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's much louder down here. We have like the sound of like the engines, and I think you see Grimna resting, like hanging half in and half out of a hammock. There's like I think maybe a single candle lighting the lower sections. Aside from the engine room, there is a smaller secondary cargo hold down here, mainly for like kind of permanent shipboard supplies. That's about it.
Yeah, he was made quartermaster. I would go look there.
Okay. Yeah, there's like this is where a lot of the ship's like water is stored. Also the ship's repair supplies and stuff like that, but you don't find them.
Huh. I don't really want to go knocking on everyone's doors in the middle of the night. I think I would go maybe wait in his room till he comes back. He'll eventually come back to it, I imagine.
Okay. So you go and you wait in his room. You just go and open the door.
Connection lost.
Yes.
Lotho is in his room.
Oh.
Well, hello.
Hello, Lotho. Recently returned, have you?
What do you mean?
You weren't here the first time I came, like an hour ago. Well, probably not that long. Half an hour, maybe.
Oh, I might have been taking a walk. I see you have the sword. Any news?
Connected.
Hold on. It's gonna kill the other connection because it's dropping and rising up again. It's annoying me.
Disconnected.
Okay. Yes, I've identified your sword, but care to tell me where you were? Because I believe you were supposed to be sleeping this time of day. I checked a lot of places.
I get up, after so many odd years in the ice, gotta do a tinkle a little bit more than I used to. Move the old joints around. They're a little stiffer than usual.
Right. Nope,
So-
we'll see. Here is the sword. It's very
Oh,
chaotic in nature. Very remarkable effects. Not so sure I would try to abuse it, as it were.
oh, effects, huh? Like what kind of things?
You can... Whatever you touch may burst into fire with it. It could
What? I kind of like hold it back a little bit.
Stone, pass through things.
Oh,
Very, very random.
oh,
And effects
okay.
and all. Can't really control them though.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll only use it on the worst of enemies, I guess. Then.
Yeah, I most notably don't tell them that it turns things to gold.
The
hope
Vermilion
one day-
Chaos Blade has been copied over to your sheet, Lotho.
Alrighty.
I seriously hope one day you end up getting the killing blow on like a frigging demigod, and the whole thing just turns to gold. That would be amazing.
Bling your goddess, Mark III.
Yes.
Just don't. Do you tell him not to pick his nails with it?
Yeah, I most certainly does
Well, I
do
kinda got
things
that
when
from the
he
burst of the
attacks
flames.
creatures with it.
Don't turn into stone.
Yeah, you don't think you want to, steal your own life or turn yourself to stone or,
Set yourself on fire.
burst into flames.
Yeah, probably not the best thing to do. You're right.
But I mentioned that to Lee, like, well, I'm not going to say anything or blame you, but if someone finds something missing in the morning, I know who to come to. Just saying. If you did take something, you probably want to put it back.
Oh.
If they don't know what's missing, then I don't have to come looking, do I?
Probably not. I just kind of give him a sidewards glance.
Yep, I nod to him and then I leave out the door.
Okay. Nothing else interesting happens during the night, I don't think, and we awaken on the third and final day of the trip, as you guys are well and truly over the seas.
Yep, I imagine if Lily has Lily gotten any kind of proper outfit. I don't know if anybody has any clothes that would fit her, but
I think Nara's a lot taller than her, but she's probably the only person on board with clothes. Like Anna didn't have luggage, Grimna doesn't have anything that would fit her, so she's probably wearing like a leftover pair of basically, smugglers or pirates outfit that Nara typically wears, like a corset and a like frilly shouldered shirt or something like that with some old leather boots, tight breeches.
yep. I would imagine that Lily is probably sitting on either the very forefront of the ship or the very far back of the ship, just staring at all the water and just looking. Otherwise, she looks very comfortable on the ship itself, but what she sees below it, she's not comfortable with at all.
Does anything happen during the final stretch? You guys can see a tiny speck of land, the very distance.
Mariah is like, is that Messenkia? That little tiny thing? A little ways off, I guess.
Have I been able to spend some more time to rest up? And is the Book of Corn had a chance to recharge? Just I know before we get there.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Cool. Good to mark down.
I'm really tempted to have Teldrall card. Really tempting.
I am going to assist Telemon's eventual role on me. Well, not really assist it in the traditional sense, but I may make a use of bandages before we land to try to put them over my decaying flesh chunks that are missing, so I do not scare the locals.
If you don't know what you wish me to try, Hero, I can clean you up, as it were, or change your form. But I do not know if that applies to changing the way your visibly appearance looks.
I was
I could
hoping
make
that
you
it
look
perhaps
like a squirrel or a human, but I don't think I could make you look like a different minotaur.
not so much a different Minotaur is hoping to make some of these I'm going to motion to the chunks of flesh that are missing, less unsightly.
Yes, I am well aware. I am not well practiced in the realm of illusion.
Guru will nod and say that if you can do nothing, I will simply attempt to cover that with the bandages the best I can. You'll understand if they think I have been in a battle, I am certain.
Perhaps so. There are quite a few, though. And if they wish to care for them, what of then?
You wish to what?
They wish to care for your wounds, natural remedies and such.
I
They
will
had,
tell them that I'm a cleric and that,
this island.
hi.
You remember? I will mention that. You remember Demas?
Poor Demas. I regretted greatly leaving him behind.
Demas came from Masenkia. Don't know how long they live, but if his mother is still here,
Do you wish to pay condolences to a turtle's mother? I'm going to ask.
condolences are not my worries. He was a bit vengeful first.
Stay out of sight then, Telemon, for I do not believe that it'll be vengeful against any of us. You are the only one that's ever been here before.
Yes, perhaps. But besides that, I do not know how the island has changed. When I was here, had the Minotaur village, had a pyramid full of power at the center. That should be no more, I think. We consumed that in the ritual and the ritual site there and the escaping of the island.
Are you certain? That could be a great help if we could venture closer to still accomplish our goals.
I am not sure. The island is also proliferated with many beasts, including some very large lizards, very sharp teeth and claws. Not an extremely safe place. Also, there was a fortress, pirates. I do not know how that could have changed in 170 odd years. It could still be there. They could have fortified it. They may even have left if they got a ship that actually worked.
Perhaps you should try to borrow some clothes from the crew and disguise yourself should anyone come aboard. Your appearance is rather distinctive.
Perhaps. So the outfit I wore then is not the same one I wear now.
I can see no reason they would expect you to be the same person. Actually, out of character, I forgot that you were also old when you were here, so very likely you might actually be able to kind of play that off.
Yes. Regardless, I wish to think of it best if I remain on the ship and eliminate that possibility, if at all possible.
Guru nods and looks to the others and says, if we pull together our resources, I intend to attempt to buy goods that are perhaps spoiling or they may be willing to throw out. I'll be able to do something about that, I hope, and provide fresh meals for the crew.
Ah, yes, by the will of your god, as it were.
He will provide, and the materials may be less expensive.
Could we not hunt wild game?
There's a possibility,
If you wish to spend
Fergus, but perhaps Mirai could help you with that. I do not wish to stay on Masenkia long, though.
Yes, we should be as quick as possible. Last thing we need is for you to kill some sacred animal they have decided upon.
Last I was here, they were very tribal in nature, but who could say how that has changed over the years?
They are far removed from my people. So, yeah, I guess I'm as ready as I'll ever be.
Cool. Almost ready.
I'm leaving my skull and on the ship because obviously carrying around a minotaur skull might not be the best pillow.
Probably not. I'm kind of surprised you haven't asked yourself questions yet.
I'm ready to spell. I'm just doing it for an opportune moment.
All right, so elsewhere on the ship, in the galley, Lily, I think you're probably seated at a table near a window. Is it safe to say you're probably looking out, at the passing sea or maybe the clouds?
Seems fairly safe to say.
So the form of the halfling comes in. You don't know his name, but he wanders up and comes and sits down at the table.
Hi, little girl. I was thinking, and I pull back my hood there so she sees a couple of my bad scars that are in the back of my neck and the sides of my cheek and such. I was thinking, you can't really talk to me, can you? And I just kind of stared at her.
I see that he's pulled back. It's like he's trying to show me like a scar, it looks like, or something. And I like kind of shrug because I like just shake my head because I can't understand what he's saying. So.
Okay, well, I remember when I was a young little buck, my mom taught me how to talk by pictures and so forth from a book, and I don't have much use for books, but I have some cards here. I could show you a little game, and you can learn the pictures on the cards and everything. So I pull out a deck of cards and I open it up and pull one out and start to show her.
Okay. So you pull out a card. Let me describe the card for you.
But you took the deck? How dare you?
That's freaking great. I just now put that together, what deck of cards he was actually taking a card from. I'm gonna
Alright.
laugh if you draw out an exploding card or something.
Let's see
right now.
here. I wonder.
there goes his map that he was doing.
I wonder if I can draw intentionally from this. No, probably not. Alright, I'll just have to tell you what happens. I don't have the card to show you since we rolled this in secret. So you draw the Six of Cups. Let's see here. Unless otherwise noted, all effects are assumed to be permanent. You may choose to cancel the effects of the spell upon hearing the result, but if you do, you must roll 1d6. On a 2d6, that is how many days it will take until the deck of Arcane Power recovers enough stability to be used safely again. On a 1, it recharges in 1 day, but it becomes negatively attuned to you, and you may never use it again. Would you care to choose a single target to permanently gain 6 hit points?
Myself.
Okay, yeah. So you pick up the card and you feel like this weird magic emanating from it.
Whoa.
And you point to yourself, and you know that this is going to do something beneficial for you. And yeah, I will adjust your HP formula. There's like a shimmering around Lotho as what is obviously some sort of magical card, Lily, takes effect. And actually, one of the scars that he was pointing to actually like seals up and disappears.
Ooh.
Lily's gonna look a little bit surprised and just like wonder what that was about.
Wow. This is not your normal deck of cards. Okay, well, this is a cup. And I'm pointing to the card. And there's 6 of them.
Right, you now have 27 hit points. Well rolled.
I'll draw another card to show her what's on it and just kind of stand by to see what else I feel.
Yeah, nothing happens.
Okay. But I'm sure there's like a picture on it and stuff. I point out to her and say the name and stuff. So I'll do that for a little while and then put the cards away.
Alright.
Lily probably sees what you're trying to do. She probably repeats back to you the words in her language as to what they are, but that probably doesn't help you a whole lot.
Okay.
So,
Man, Palma's gonna reach for that one day and be like,
God.
crap!
I can imagine it. Like, I go to pull a card, I foresee your fortune. Not there. Lotho!
Hopefully, you're not reaching for it when you need to use an arcane storm.
Yes, exactly.
All right. I'm gonna say everybody take a 5-minute break, and we will come back and get into the last segment of our session tonight.
Sounds good. See you in 5.
Question becomes, how often does Talmon check his magic items?
That is a question. He has many, and he is very busy.
I am here as well. You rolled pretty good on your arcane power roll there, Lotho.
Yeah, that's very nice. Thought that number that I rolled might be something that wasn't too great, but
Oh, it's entirely random.
Yep, that's true.
Ones or 78s don't particularly matter. Now, a truly good cause would be giving her 6 hit points. You used it for a truly neutral cause.
Oh yeah. Well, good cause of trying to teach her language. I didn't know it was going to have some kind of other effect.
I had no idea.
like how when I was like, oh, we can hunt wildlife, Taliban doesn't mention a damn thing about there being dinosaurs. Yeah,
Nope.
doesn't even mention it.
I did. I was talking to him about it, right?
I think he mentioned
back.
it.
You mentioned lizards.
Yeah, I think.
I don't
Giant
know they're
lizards.
called dinosaurs.
Didn't really go into detail either, just like lizards, and Fergus thinking, monitor lizard, that's fine, perfectly fine.
All right. Well, if everybody is back, is Jace here?
Yep.
All right.
Victor, have I heard from him yet?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Apparently, Tiger Direct is closing.
Huh.
Sad face. I wonder why their selection was crap recently, but that's basically why. I was looking for hard drives the other day, and I was like, why are there only like 3 hard drives on here? What the fuck? And it's like, oh.
Pity, because their prices and shipping were better than Newegg for me.
Yep. They were purchased by another company.
Best Buy or something. Or competition.
Welcome back, people.
No.
So, so after 3 long days beneath the sun and stars,
After 170 years, the party returns
This-
to whence
yeah.
they came.
this sight comes into view. The island known by very few as Messenkia, and rather intimately by Telemon. You come in over the island, and I'm going to actually put a token on here for the ship.
Just so you know, Jace, the lines were our previous lines of travel on this island.
And the colors
Yeah, I
represent the
figured.
fact that there were 2 different parties at the same time. Because when they were shipwrecked, half of the players were exiled, and they went off to go to the Minotaur village, and the other half went to the pirate village. And it was rather unique. It was like Survivor crossed with Lost.
Things went badly on all sides.
So you come in from the east. Telemon's certainly expecting to see the cove on the eastern side of the island and the Minotaur village.
The goblins had a ship too, right? Like a wrecked ship?
Yep. That was not visible from the island, but might have been visible from the air 177 years ago.
Yeah. I imagine there's not much left by now.
Coming over the island, you can see that there is indeed a village on the eastern half of the island, although it doesn't look exactly the same as you left it. There is no palisade wall around the interior. It looks primarily like a small fishing village, and you can see a path carved through the jungle, roughly along the actual path that you guys took, leading deeper into the jungle, and it looks like all the way towards the center of the island. Down south towards the wreck of the Saber, you don't see the Saber anywhere. You do see actually another small village.
Huh.
And you can see several boats out here in the eastern cove. Towards the center of the island, you can spot the unmistakable edges of the black pyramids poking out over the canopy, and actually a little bit more visible because it looks like there has been some clearing going on with the jungle out towards the center. Where do you tell Landon to land?
While we're touching down, by the way, I am using one of my bandages to hide my horribleness a little bit.
You said you wanted to visit the Minotaur village, right?
I believe they would be the most amenable. I've heard of some other colony on the
In my
island,
day,
but
that
I know
was the
little of
Eastern
it.
Village. Do not know if it's still true, but that's probably where we'll go.
So you'll tell Landon to put her down over by the by at least what used to be Namrin village, the
Perhaps
village
they-
of the Minotaurs.
Perhaps the scout should rappel down and make sure that it is all right before the whole ship lands.
Perhaps
Yeah, you can see. I think from this distance, you can see people pointing up towards the ship. Very large forms, sturdily built with horns on their heads.
Well, they're your people.
yeah, perhaps somewhere in like maybe like Yayish area. I don't think it's very like. I don't think it's very like. I think it would be kind of like against them to park right outside their village, but they don't have a wall anymore, so maybe not.
All right. So you,
I am gonna go full on priest of Deshret, and I'll try to introduce myself as such. But also, I'm hoping maybe if I cast my light right enough, it might also discourage them looking too deeply into my my wounds. So I'm gonna cast my light on my horns. Maybe they won't want to stare
Alright.
directly into my face.
Okay, so the ship eventually touches down, and there's a fairly nice fluffy grass field here right over the beach, and you can see quite a few Minotaurs moving down from the village to meet you long before they get to you.
Okay, I'll get an emotional oath because I thought you wanted to be part of the negotiations, and I'll walk over to a rappel line.
I'll go with them. Yeah.
I'll give you a nod and toss you a rappel line.
I think
and then we'll
Ryland
start rappelling down.
moves over to you, Haru, and he says, "I would come with you as well. I don't know what beasts are on this island, but you may need some protection."
Might be best if you cover us from the air with your bow. No, I'll kind of ask as I look up and keep an eye on Telemon. Or I'm not sure how well you would do in hand-to-hand combat. It seems your art is more of a ranged sort.
He gives you a nod and he says, "Very well, I'll wait here."
Watch
He looks a little
Telemon
bit
and make sure
disappointed,
he is
but
not,
yeah, he
not
stays
sharp.
on deck.
And I will get with you again, my friend. I am sorry if I seem to have neglected you.
I think Landon comes up from below, buckling on a sword belt, and he doesn't even look at you. He makes his way towards the ramp to walk off the ship with Nara in tow, and she's got her bow on her back.
I'm going to kind of hold out my hand between him and Nara, and I'll say that the book that we found, perhaps she should take extra precautions in the days to come.
He kind of squints his eyes at you. Have you guys told everybody everything that you guys found?
I would have probably told him about the passage that something happens to her, so maybe he can try to.
Yeah, I think
change things.
you see like a flicker in his eyes, and you see her. I think she looks a little bit aggravated, and it looks like she's about to protest. But he kind of makes like a sound with his mouth, and he just gestures back towards the ship, and he says, "Go back, Nara. I can handle this. It's not like we haven't dealt with a few Minotaurs before."
I'll
Fine,
turn
that's
and
a big hammer.
I'll turn and look to Ryland, and I'll say, I'll tell him to also keep an eye on her as well if danger is afoot. And then
I think Tolston starts to get the turret turned in the direction, but it's he's not really overtly threatening with it. He's just turning it in the general northerly direction. And
hopefully we will have no need
you
of
step
violence.
off.
Landon, how about we pretend Hiru is the captain instead of you right now, just to deal with these guys?
He raises an eyebrow and he says, "Might make a difference. I don't know that these people might speak our language anyway, so you best do the talking, Haru. Just don't don't tell them to eat us all."
That would not be opportune.
So,
I not want to be a dwarf kebab.
Brian pipes up, so what do Minotaurs eat anyways?
a
You
fairly
don't want to
large
know,
group.
Mirai. You don't want to know.
A fairly large group of minotaurs stops about 80 feet away from the horizon. You can see there's about 8 or 9 of them, all fairly seriously built, wearing fairly simple tribal clothing. They have spears, they have axes, and I would say they look kind of similar to what they looked before from your distant view, Telemon. And I think they stop there and they kind of let you approach.
Yep, Tell is staying on the ship.
All right. So, Haru, do you approach?
Oh yeah. I'll come straight down, then I will, as soon as I get on the ground, I will turn and I will walk towards them with both hands empty and say that,
Do you have
greetings.
any noticeable symbols of Deshret upon yourself?
I'm assuming my blade is probably covered, my double-handed blade probably has symbols of
But
Deshret all over it.
Are you carrying that, or is it on your back?
It's strapped to my back.
Okay. So I think they watch as you approach, and what exactly is glowing on you? Your blade?
My horns.
Okay,
I
your
glowed
horns.
My horns.
They as you approach, you can see there's definite attention to your glowing horns, and they kind of you catch some back and forth glances. But one of the older looking minotaurs steps forward, and he kind of holds out a hand in sort of a traditional minotaur greeting, and he says, "I am Kobor, outsider. Who are you which approach the island of Masenkia?"
My name is Haru. We have come here on a important mission, and we have run low on supplies. We seek food, water, and we of course expect to give you fair trade for such.
Is he speaking common?
Actually, no.
Dope.
He is speaking Minotaur. It's a little bit of a gruff, guttural dialect, Haru, but you can understand it. And he says, "Where do you hail from, and under which god do you serve?"
I am a servant of Deshret, and I will tell him where I originally came from. I don't have the map in front of me, so I probably get the name wrong. And then I will say that, but for the moment, we have sold from Arnhin. We have left. We are being pursued by, unfortunately, forces of evil that seek to. I'm going to kind of pause for a second and say, doom the future of this world. And then I'm just going to motion and say that we do not wish to bring you any trouble, but we were hoping that perhaps you would be friendly and amicable to some trade with us, so we might make it to our destination to the west. We return to my homeland to seek reinforcement.
If you are truly a servant of Deshret, surely you have some sort of sigil.
Well, I will kind of motion to my blade and say that, and kind of like make sure that I'm moving really slowly and deliberately so he doesn't get nervous, and I will unhook my blade and I will do a quick spin with it.
They're gonna attack us, aren't they?
I think Landon reaches out and he puts his hand firmly on your shoulder, Lotho, and he's just like, "Be quiet."
Okay.
I'll show him my blade, which is probably adorned with the symbol of destiny, and I will tell him that my armor was destroyed by a creature that was corrupted by vile fire demons. But
so they see the symbol of Deshret, and you hear, Deshret, Deshret, and several put their hands, like 2 fingers to their foreheads, and then they sink down to one knee and like lower their heads.
They're worshiping them. Okay, good.
It sounds like you're trying to parlay for supplies.
That would kind of be.
Will you please roll plus cha?
Oh God.
I will give you a +1 because you are a servant of Deshret.
I want to try to aid him by I'm gonna kind of mock the like worshiping and kind of bow to him and stuff too. Kind of go, yeah, I see, I worship Deshret too, kind of thing. Actually, do I even have a bond?
Do you have
with
a
him? Let me
bond
check.
with Harry Deshret?
I do have a bond with him. Yes,
Oh,
he knows
nice.
incriminating details about me.
All right, roll aid.
I'm gonna laugh you botched this. That's gonna be the funniest moment ever.
Oh,
crap! So, tell them, give us supplies, or you will grow angry and use your magic. Haru, please give me a roll, +1, -1, so flat charisma, whatever it is your charisma is.
Dope.
Or
The
just like,
-1
does
'cause I
anyone
have
know
that
what he's
scar.
seeing?
I have the scar, unfortunately. Oh god. I don't get any advantage for trying to cover that for the moment, do I?
You
You don't get negative.
That's
Okay,
good.
here we
for
go. Here we go. I'm going to. Oh boy.
Well, hang on. You used a use of bandages, right?
Well, I guess
Oh,
it
It,
doesn't matter.
it would not have mattered. I was gonna give you another +1. So I think Kobor returns to his knees and he says, "Servant of Deshret, if you truly brought doom upon us, you say you are being pursued by the forces to the east. We have survived solely by remaining off all maps and away from all which would do harm to us."
To pause and say that there's an event coming. One way or another, the world that is may end. I'm going to pause and say this was unavoidable. We believe that they will probably be waiting for us in the cities. However, if any of your people wish to accompany us on our quest, we are.
He shakes his head and
currently,
he says, "You have surely doomed us all, outsiders. It has been generations since we have seen any of your kind. Now I fear that this will be the last. If you seek aid, you must see the High Chief, for you will find none here."
High Chief, I will gladly negotiate with him. We meant to bring you no harm, and I will.
Duradan lives within the Great Pyramid, within the city returned.
He is Duradan, a Minotaur.
Duradan is our chief, our great chief of all the tribes upon the island. If you would deal with us, you must first deal with him and explain to him this doom which you have wrought.
Haru nods and says that I do hope that you will forgive us. What we've done is a necessity, and we will speak with your chief. Perhaps when this is over, your people and my people can be in contact once again.
I think they all start making the Deshret symbol of evil towards you away, and they start moving away.
Haru's just gonna shake his head and says that could have gone better. We should return to the ship.
Really?
Landon just looks over and he says, "So, no
We will head.
supplies."
We will head to the pyramid in the center of the island. We will negotiate with the warlord for supplies, or the chief for supplies. Sounds as if he might be the man we need to speak to anyway. Perhaps he can provide us with more than just supplies, and perhaps we should bring him an offering of goods along with our conversation. Pool what we can before we approach him.
So you three make your way back to the ship, and you can see the Minotaurs staring at you all, holding their spears, not, pointing at you, but kind of just holding them as the ship eventually raises back up.
Yeah.
Oh God.
I'm going to say that
So,
we need to head to the pyramid.
Went badly then?
Well,
I
would
do not
say
see supplies, Haru.
it did not go well, but it did not go. It could have been worse. We were not attacked, as we were told of the chieftain that actually runs this island. He lives in the pyramid at the center that you mentioned, Talaman. So we should set the course for there and speak to him.
That
He may be able to provide us with what we
full
need.
of traps in my day. I do not know if it's the same.
Well, their leader lives there now. I'm assuming that there must be a way in or a way to see him safely. He would not live in a place that would kill him, I would assume.
One can assume. I remember something about large creatures, but hazy.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to tell our good captain that we should head to the center of the island.
All right, so grumbling, Landon sets course towards the center of the island, and you guys all make way. Beneath you, the jungle sweeping past. You can see that the jungle is as lively as ever, Telemon. It's thick and healthy and voracious. And to the north, upon a barren hill top in the mountains, you can actually see some sort of kind of Stonehenge-like monument as you kind of float past. You don't see much else aside from just jungle, and more jungle.
I think that's new.
Although at one point, someone yells something and is pointing overboard.
Down?
Yeah. You look down and you can see.
What do ye see?
You can see something massive moving in the forest or in the jungle. It's absolutely gigantic, huge. But and everywhere it moves, the trees from the jungle shake and break beneath it, and you can see the entire canopy of the jungle just shuddering as something large moves beneath it. Out from the west.
They wouldn't live where it's dangerous, eh? Yeah.
Like
sure.
easily the size of the horizon itself, you might think.
I believe you
That's a
tamed
very
large
large
yourself.
creature.
My people are maybe have tamed such creatures. Who knows? I'm going to pause and kind of look over the edge as I try to make it out and say that perhaps it is a century of theirs.
You hear the cry of a dragon turtle.
Hey.
Oh God.
Oh yeah, I don't even know what that is.
But you keep floating onwards, I think.
Tell
Oh,
probably
that
looks a
sounds
little bit
bad.
terrified.
Yeah, I think everybody just looks and sees Tell very pale and wondering what has Telemon the Red so terrified.
Telemon, why do you look so pale? I've seen you go through many worse situations, and I've
Tell
never
speaks
seen
one
that
word.
face pale.
Demas.
I miss Demas as well, I will comment.
No.
Say that there was a...
Demas's mother.
I'll look down and say that, could you shrink her into your pocket as well, or would that be unadvisable?
I don't think she would be nearly as friendly as Demas was.
Perhaps that would make an excellent siege weapon if you can... I'm just gonna start suggesting you put her in your pocket. I think that's gonna work, though.
I do not think that would work out well.
Don't tell me you stole the babe from that beast.
It was not I. It was one of my other companions at the time.
Wow,
All
you
the more
keep
reason you
strange
should stay out of
company.
sight.
The deeper you get into the jungle, the more odd sights you begin to glimpse beneath the canopy. Large creatures, although not nearly as large as the creature you passed before, moving down beneath. And at one point, you're passing over a large river, and in the clearing, you can see these odd turtle-like things with spiked shells and very long tails that seem to have clubs at the end, doing battle with a huge creature that looks like a wingless dragon.
What is
Somewhat-
that?
Somewhat similar to this picture.
I've never seen such beasts.
Big lizards, as I said, yes?
Oh my
That's
gosh.
much bigger than I was imagining.
Did I get
Same
the picture
here.
from the channel? I don't see any blizzards.
It's in the
It's in the link.
that link.
In the campaign.
Oh, I missed the link. I don't know how I missed it. There you go. Oh, wow.
I bet their king rides a T-Rex.
And eventually, you come to the Black Pyramids themselves. Telamon, what was once clearly a ruined, abandoned city with a pair of obsidian pyramids in the center, is now still mostly a ruined city, but not clearly abandoned. It looks like a civilization has moved back in and has been rebuilding for some time. A lot of the buildings are still, ruined and whatnot, but they've made some repairs and they've been beating the jungle back, clearing around it. And what you see is actually a fairly sizable settlement. It's probably not really a city, but vastly larger population than the Minotaurs out in the fishing villages. And you can see it actually, there are roads leading to what look to be stone-worked docks down by the main river, which you actually have personal experience with.
Wow. Oh, never mind. I would say it spread a little bit, but that was the Tomb of the Dread one I'm looking at. Seems they have cleared out some about 170 years.
My people are industrious, I'll comment as I look over.
Last I saw it, it was a place they feared. They would not go there, and it was encapsulated by the jungle.
I'll look over it and with a bit of pride that they've come far enough that way on their own.
So there's no real clear place to land here. I guess you could probably land over by the river, but then you'd have to take the road all the way to the city, or you might be able to just hover over the city and climb down a rope ladder. You can definitely see people noticing you and pointing upward. And Landon asks what you think.
I'm going to motion to say perhaps we should once again send a party down.
Yes,
Everyone on standby.
I would think it's probably best to land like near the shore of the river and just get low enough to use the rope ladder. I would think if we can't actually land. Not over the river, but like the shore-ish side of the river. I would think it's probably more clear than the actual town itself.
No, I'll not and say that's very well. Perhaps all of us can disembark this time and make a better showing. I'm going to say, with the obvious exception of Telamon and our protected allies. That Ryland, I motioned to Telamon, by the way, and say Ryland will be keeping an eye on you and our other companion, Daenerys.
All right, so you guys make your way to the river, and you can actually see several small. It's hard to call them ships, just very large boats on the river. A couple of them moored at the docks here. It looks like they've been put back to use. And as you come in and start to set down at one of the docks, you can see a large gathering of people starting to make their way to the end of the dock. And eventually Landon sets the ship down with not much of a groan at all. Landon says, well, we've arrived at the island of the large, possibly unfriendly people. To your right, we have the large, ominous pyramids. To the left, horrifying dragon beasts. Enjoy your stay.
Yes.
Hopefully we will not stay long.
You seem very
Indeed.
safe. So I'll be heading with Hero again this time.
What have we gathered to give them? What do we have to offer them in trade?
Well, I'll have to find out what they want first.
Perhaps we should come bearing some sort of a gift. Does anyone have anything they can part with from their chief that may help us? Offer them some gear, perhaps, but that's about all I have that...
Have anything I can be able to use?
If they like shiny gems, I've got a couple I can show them.
I nod and say, shiny gems might be useful. What of practical things that we might be able to trade for supplies? Does anyone know of anything that may be on the ship? Or I'm going to kind of look around at the various parts of the ship in a second.
Landon just shakes his head and he says, all we have are the very few supplies that we need to replenish. That and the ballista, I guess, and I think like as soon as he says that, you hear like a growl from Tolston.
Perhaps I can
Perhaps,
try to.
Since I discovered my magic, I find myself not in need of it so much. When we get back to where we're going, I think I could probably replace it. Perhaps a sword of mithril would aid them, but I think it's a bit small for their size.
I'm going to nod and say that mithril might be of value. We'll keep that in mind. I will also offer perhaps my services at purifying spoiled food. I'm assuming that they may have a store that might be going bad if they have this much of a civilization. And
I think Tolston comes to you, Hero, and asks, "Can I speak with you in private for a moment, my friend?"
yeah, I'll nod and walk off with it for a moment.
Well, I've been doing some more research, and he taps your chest where the silver scale breastplate is, and he says, I think perhaps this was left by you yourself, but I don't think that it will prevent the change. It might slow it down by a few hours. If you are actually wearing this when the change occurs, it could either be hazardous to it or yourself. Just want to make sure you know that this, shakes his head, might not be as effective a deterrent as I was originally hoping. I saw that you had a large breastplate downstairs, however. Perhaps these people have a smith that might be able to make something more your size. They are, after all, your own kind.
I'll nod and say that I was planning on having my armor repaired by the smiths at my city, but if there's someone here that can do it, that's a good point. We will.
I spotted quite a few fires down there. One of them quite black. Might have been a smith. I can't imagine any settlement of this size not having at least something of the sort.
If I overcarry my my hunk of armor, would I still be able to walk? Just not like run
Yeah,
crazy?
just slow.
Okay, yeah, I've got a problem. I might throw my hunk of metal and also the plate that I pulled off the plate mail and the mirrored hull. Might add that to the collection.
And he does point again to the scale armor, and he says, if you intend to see that anyone else can use that, you'll have to undergo a refitting. You'll have to see a smith about that as well. It might take some time.
I'm going to nod and say that for now I will wear it. Hope that it assists, but when the time comes and the moon cycle draws near, I'll once again find a way to restrain myself from causing damage. And with that said, I will.
And I do want to point something out. Now that your undeadness has started to fully manifest, you do not ever feel comfortable in the armor, to the point where you think that you might start getting negatives because it's made of silver.
Ooh, interesting. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna try and get my armor fixed. I'm gonna probably wear it until it gets bad enough to actually cause negatives, but in the meantime, I'll probably keep it on just for at least appearances.
All right. So who's setting out for the city with Herod Eshret?
Lotho is.
I'm definitely going.
Oh. Two big guys I'm surrounded by, yeah.
Two big guys and
I think Tolston's going to be coming along. Anybody else?
Ryan Fergus staying on the ship?
I don't know. Mariah might. Having seen the beast, maybe not so. But she probably would have gone hunting. See what she could find. But what's there now? Maybe not. But courtrooms and things of that nature definitely aren't her deal.
To be fair, it didn't look like they had much in the way of courtrooms.
Perhaps so.
You're right. You sure you don't want? I think we should go anyway. Never know. Plus, you've been queued up on this ship for who knows how long.
Indeed. I will go along.
Might be good to stretch your short legs.
Yes.
All right. So with that, you all begin to head out, and you are met on the docks. Very similar greeting to what you received on the village, or near the village. These minotaurs look to actually be dressed a little bit more, I guess, civilized than the ones out in the fishing villages. They actually have some what look to be like spun clothing, and on top of it, like some actual cured leather armor instead of just the patchwork sort of hide stuff. And you do see that they have like actual metal tipped weapons, not just stonework stuff. It doesn't look to be the highest quality, but they do actually have like proper weapons. And one steps forward, very large, wielding a giant club, like the size of a small person, that has like metal kind of rivets into it. You could have sworn you've seen this before, Telemon. It's just a giant war club. And he steps forward and he says,
Is Telemon with us, or did he stay?
I mean, Telemon's up on top of the ship.
Oh,
at the
okay, you
very
can see
least.
it. Gotcha.
He steps forward and he says, "Who are you which trespass upon the lands of the Hoof Clan?"
Common or Minotaur?
Again, a Minotaur.
Damn.
Like yelling in the Minotaur of your group's direction.
I'll holler out and say that I am Haru. We have come for supplies. We do not seek to be here for long, and we seek only fair trade before we proceed with a mission for the Order of Deshret. And I'll holler in your direction.
I kind of step off to the side of Hiru, kind of like at a 45-degree angle, turn towards him, and I start bowing towards him like I was before. Already.
Okay, so he says, You claim to be servant of the great god Deshret. Who is it that you have brought here in this sky ship?
Refugees from the east. Things are happening there. The world of the living may come to an end soon if actions are not taken. We're on
You
a
seek
quest to
conference
rectify
with Duradar?
Yes, we have been told that Duradar is the wise leader of this city, is who we need to speak with. Or of this entire island, I believe. And I'll kind of sound a bit apologetic for the misspeak.
There's definitely some wary glances, and he says, Because you are of the Order of Deshret, we will escort you. But tell your outsiders that they must be cautious. We long ago dealt with those which came to our island and made war with us.
We will nod and say, we seek no war with you. Only supplies, and then to move on. And I'll very clearly approach with my hands open and empty and my weapon stowed.
Alright. So you all begin to follow this group. Like, you can see like a bunch of what look to be fishermen and people from the nearby like small village gathered about the dock staring, but they're all at a fairly long distance away, and you're kind of being escorted by this group of what look to be 6 minotaurs.
All quite tall here, aren't they, Mirai?
It does seem we are dwarfed, as it were, my friend.
Oh.
So I assume that Haru is also talking in Minotaur, and we basically can't understand anything that's being
Yeah,
said.
Correct.
It sounds like it.
Powercore is adding a verse to his new song.
Brian Whiskey to Fergus. So could you understand what they were saying?
Not a word.
I'm gonna
The
assume
song
they're
needs
not
a
going
verse
to
in all
eat us.
Minotaur.
Mirai, if they were going to eat this, I think they would have impaled us already.
The way I got it figured, as long as they think that Hero here is a god, I think we're good to go.
Is that what he said?
Hopefully.
I hope not. That never ends well. I tried that once with like this primitive group of kobolds out in the woods.
Well, who would have thought you were a god?
I don't know. You know, they might have believed it. They're not that smart, but you know, it didn't end well. Okay.
When someone asks you if you're a god, you say yes.
So you're led along this jungle road towards the center of the island. The six guarding you, kind of keeping a wary eye upon you. And at some point, I need everybody to make a perilous journey roll for me.
Just
I guess
this path?
not.
Oh
I
my
guess.
gosh.
I guess I'll not so much the trailblazing and the quartermastering, but the scouting. Who wants to be the one keeping an eye out?
Or I will.
All right.
Yeah, I would hope it would be her.
I mean, you're all keeping an eye out over this short distance, but Mariah is the designated. Okay, we can't trust these minotaurs.
I need to be having my attention focused on the minotaurs. So.
Being as I am standing next to Mariah, I will watch with her.
I'd probably be keeping an eye on the Minotaur.
Do you want to aid Mariah?
Yes.
I don't.
Do I have a bond with Mariah? No, I don't have a bond with Mariah anymore. So.
I don't think you can actually aid on these.
I don't have a bond with her.
It doesn't
anyway.
say you can't.
I have to admit, I prefer the fact that you could do flat rolls if you didn't have a bond. I miss that.
It says you have to have a bond with them. I don't have a bond. So.
I miss the bond just being a +1, and you could flat roll if you didn't have it. That was kind of cool, but...
Alright,
When was that?
so... That was how we did it the entire campaign before.
Really?
Yeah.
Up until
I
very
could have
recently,
sworn
yeah.
I would have mentioned that that's not how it works, but okay.
You didn't. So,
Probably because I
Mariah,
loved it.
Keep watch for what you shall have. Dead.
Right. So, Mariah, you are watching, and I think you see a long shadow make its way over the road, and you look up and you can see this weird shaped bird. Actually, a couple of them making their way high overhead. Pointed wings, really long pointed beak, long narrow tail.
Pterodactyl attacks. Maybe.
And then it occurs to you as they pass over, they have no feathers.
So, flying lizard?
Definitely
Where?
looks like it. You all look up and see this
Why is Hero chanting now?
flying overhead. Let me get an appropriate image. Here's a good one. You see a couple of these flying overhead. And I think you're all a little bit distracted, except for Mirai, who hears something with her keen goblin ears from the forest to the east. And you notice rapid motion through the canopy, I guess the foliage just off to the east of the path. And you catch out of the corner of your eye, even as you're turning to potentially warn the others, motion off to the left of the path as well.
Whoa.
Where I was like motion in the trees. We're surrounded.
What? Question mark. I'm ready
Fast.
the axe. You ready?
I'm gonna immediately move, and as soon as you ready your axe, put my hand on your shoulder and say, "What are you doing? We do not want to alarm them. We're their guests."
I says something comes.
So the Minotaurs up ahead
I don't think
stop
the Minotaurs.
when
It's too fast.
When you turn or when you stop and they turn around and one of them yells back in Minotaur, "What is the holdup?"
My companion saw something in the trees. She was concerned that they may be, I believe, I'm going to look to Marai and kind of cock my head to the side, wild animals? I'll sound very questioning.
As soon as that happens, the Minotaurs start spreading out in a defensive pattern. And right as that happens, a form tears out of the brush from both the left and the right. And the yell of "fast claws" is yelled up from the Minotaurs, even as one is taken down by a massive, an incredibly quick lizard, which jumps forward, raising a talon in its hands, or I guess raising a talon upward and slicing through one of the Minotaurs.
Oh boy. I am going to, without a second thought, bring my weapon out. I'm going to start making my way towards the Minotaur that I saw go down and see if I can do anything for him and fight whatever's on him.
Yeah, you hear more motion from around you, and another form darts out from the brush immediately behind the group, and yet another form up ahead, a fifth from the side, and it is very clear that you are completely surrounded, but you at least have your guard up.
Since my guard is up, can I actually roll for defend and also
Yeah.
potentially roll to magic up my weapon?
You can roll to
Or
defend.
one or the other. Roll to defend. You got it. I'm rolling to defend.
Normally,
right
you
now.
might have enough time,
is
but
going
you
very
guys
fast.
used a lot of time to talk amongst yourselves.
I guess I'm at the front of the group, or am I at the rear? Of the
Yeah,
group?
you're at the front of the group, and
You
you're
probably move to the front. Yeah.
trying to defend. So yeah, you get to hold 3. That goes off immediately as a pair of raptors like dart out, and one of them runs by you. The other goes straight for you.
Coming
do you
straight
do?
for me then?
Yeah.
The one that's running by me, can I redirect him to me, and then I'm not sure if I can do that or not as one of the moves.
I'll let you.
Okay, I'm gonna try to hook out, and I'm gonna try to swing my blade around and like catch it as it runs past and drag it towards me, and then I'm going to try to spin my blade around into a defensive position, and I'm going to try to have the damage. And the last thing that I want to do is give me 1 second because I actually need to check something. You know what? I'm going to say that right after I hopefully take whatever blow they have, I'm going to try to do a quick counter strike and deal my damage.
Cool.
Only thing I have up is on a quest, so I guess I roll 1d4 additionally for damage if that works out that way. Can I roll
Yeah,
it
go
now,
ahead.
or-
You can
Blowing
roll their
all your
damage
holds, huh?
afterwards.
Nice.
It's rolled a 4.
Nice. And your level is what?
8.
My level up is 8, yes.
Ooh, wow. So you spin your blade out as one of these things jumps upwards and the other comes down low and goes for your leg at the exact same time. They seem to be perfect, like, pack predators. Can you roll d8 plus 3 with 2 piercing? Can you roll that again? Oh, not bad. So 5 with 2 piercing from both of them. They don't. I think one of them.
Is that halved as well?
Yeah, that is. So rounded down for 2. You only take 2 damage as one of them comes in low and takes a chunk out of your calf. The other is making a grab for your neck. You sling your blade upward and just lop its head clean off, and it tumbles to the ground beside you, blood splurting all over you. And I think you come around and you slice into the other one, and it cut like a deep gash through it, and it squeals and falls to the side, and Haru just takes both of these out. But even as it does, like another pair emerge from the jungle, and all hell breaks loose. Lotha, what do you do?
I'm gonna draw a javelin while
Launching myself into the canopy about 30 or 40 feet above me.
Ooh, are you
Using
using
my
your
Strider's boots.
Strider's boots?
Yeah, I figure the walking over the last 4 or 5 days that I've done has probably amounted to at least a mile.
So Lotho goes full Dragoon jump.
Yep.
Yep. So, and then when I'm
So yeah,
up there,
you just fling yourself upwards.
yep,
Lotho
and I'd like to try to
disappears.
get a shot with my javelin on one of them if I can, either
All right,
this
yeah,
time
give
or
me
next. Okay.
give me a volley +1 for having utter advantage of being above them and them not like knowing
Alright.
exactly how to deal with this.
Nice.
Back.
Yeah, roll your damage. Is your javelin comes down and ooh, yeah, like
Nice.
I think that skewers one of them. You see one of the minotaurs just get dragged off into the jungle screaming. Two of them though, one of them swinging the giant club bashes in the head of one of the raptors, very near power cord. Power cord, what do you do?
I'm going to pull my javelins out and hold them in the air and start my singing. Fergus, though his flesh was claimed by fire, he is reborn through the bond of blood.
All right, awesome.
Make my roll here.
Okay. So is Fergus
Ooh.
getting healing and what is that? Forward? Oh no, not healing. That was your advantage. So you're giving him forward to damage.
Yeah, 44 forward to damage. Yeah.
Damn.
Nice. So power cord just booms out, and I think birds and pterodactyls take off from all around you in the jungle in the distance, like just shrieking.
Somewhere in the
out into
distance,
the
Big
distance.
Fang goes, I see.
Mirai, what do you do? These things are terrifying, and you've never seen their like before. They're also kind of cool
Yep.
in
they
a
are kinda
terrifying
cool.
way.
Aha! Lizard wolves of the forest. And they go like, aha! Just shoot like the other ones do. And then I'm gonna do blow out the sun again. I'm gonna shoot 3 if I can.
Nice, nice. Expend 3.
Well, it'll be 2.
Well, 2.
I'm gonna just use. Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and use ammo out of the quiver. It doesn't care, and I can fill it up later. Getting magical ammo. 6 plus 3. Ha!
Ooh, that's good. Roll your damage.
Also ha!
Nice.
Nice. So 7 damage to all 3 of them. Mirai, you plug one of the ones that has been damaged by one of the minotaurs already, and it goes right into its heart and it falls over. A second one gets hit in the back, and where the wine falls into the grass. The third one gets hit in the shoulder, and you can see almost killed, but it just very near death as it starts to drag its way towards power cord, who's the nearest by and making like a shit ton of noise.
1 down, 2 weakened.
Fergus, what do you do? There is at least 2 weakened. Seem to be 3 more still healthy.
I'm going to attempt to bash a healthy one in the face with the shield and then come down with the axe.
Okay, cool.
So it's like bash strike.
Roll it with a -1, but you can make an attack on both of them.
All right, the first roll is going to be through Death's Eyes because when I go into battle, I can roll through Death's
Yep.
Eyes.
Nice.
12. So somehow a pterodactyl will die. And Landon
I know
will live.
immediately how this is gonna happen.
And then for the attack. 10.
Nice, nice.
God, you tell me how you kill these 2.
So I bash the one back, and maybe it breaks his neck, and then the other one just gets chopped vertically.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, it falls to the ground.
Give me roll
Like-
damage. I haven't rolled damage yet.
Oh, I thought that was your damage.
No, that's the roll for the attack. That's why I was like, okay.
Oh, the first one was through death size. Okay.
The first one was through death
Okay,
size.
yeah,
Second
yeah.
one
Go ahead.
was a
Go ahead and roll
size.
damage.
Yeah.
I thought that was 10 damage.
Yep, unfortunately.
Okay, get 10 damage. Oh, well, yeah, that's gonna help.
Yep, that still happens. They eviscerate in a bloody mess.
Wow, look how low that is.
Yeah, 2.
Heru, you're looking around and you guys are making swift work of these things. What do you hear? Boom, 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 coming through the trees, and one of these pterodactyls is flying low, and all of a sudden, the mouth of what looks like a dragon comes out from the trees and just crunches onto one of these flying bird
Lizard!
things.
Bigger lizard! Bigger lizard!
By Morden's beard.
And this giant big fang trundles onto the path, and one of the minotaurs shrieks, "Big fang!" and just like raises a hand, and he gets bit in half and flung around.
Oh shit.
But any of the minotaurs that, before I do anything, any of the minotaurs that got taken down by these smaller creatures, do any of them look like they're still alive?
Oh, absolutely.
Or any of them look like they are on the ground and going to bleed out if I don't attend to them right this second?
One of them. It looks like his guts have been kind of loosed to the world. It would take a magical miracle of Heru Deshret to help him.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at that giant creature, and I'm gonna look back to him, and I'm just gonna be like, damn it, and I'm going to help those in need, and I'm going to dash my way over there, and I'm going to immediately fall to my knees and place my hands on him and attempt to cast Cure Menor Wounds.
Alright.
Can I try to sing like a healing song, or is that not an option because they can't understand me?
Yeah, you can totally do that. They don't have to understand
I
you.
would say that music transcends all languages, right? You can enjoy music without
I mean,
understanding
yeah.
what it
I mean,
says.
I listen to Japanese music all the time, and I don't have to understand what it says.
Ooh, 12. Wow. That was your healing? 2d8 plus 1d8?
Yep, that's my normal
Wow,
Cure Menor
Heru's-
Wounds plus 1d8 for Hospitaler.
Haru's
Nice.
pretty badass with that. Yeah, you see his wound starts to stitch closed, and you hear him gasp in horrible pain as he's like struggling to remain conscious, but like he grabs your arm and like holds tight. Lotho, you're coming down out of the air. and
Oh no,
right
I went
beneath-
up into the trees. I'm
Okay,
up there.
so you
I jumped up under the branch.
Okay, you jumped into the branches, and directly beneath you, this giant thing has just erupted from the jungle.
Use
You
the
know,
dagger.
20 feet
Yep.
tall, 40 tons.
Yep, I plan to jump down right on top of him, burying my mithril blade, the vermilion
A golden big fang would be so cool.
blade. The blade of. what do you
Perhaps
call it?
this
Chaos
will
blade.
suffice for payment
Almighty
for our
Lord,
supplies.
we bring you a
Yeah.
T-Rex of solid gold.
Roll
If
me
I
a
hit.
roll me
I'm
a
gonna laugh if you turn it invisible.
hack and
That's gonna be the
slash
funniest crap
plus
ever.
1
Oh,
because
yeah.
you're above this guy. So another plus 1.
I almost hope you turn it invisible so it turns into the worst disaster
Hope it doesn't
of all
erupt in
time.
flames when you're on top of it.
Oh, 7.
Oh, it's
7.
gonna do damage back to me. Ugh.
Oh, this is gonna be very
Oh.
bad.
That's ugly.
Alrighty, so I'm gonna
Roll
roll
a
my damage.
d10.
I roll my damage and then the d10, or both?
Roll the d10 first.
To see what your effect is.
Was it a
Oh.
2?
10.
You ignore all armor and roll with the advantage on your damage.
Oh, okay.
That's a good one to get.
Does it include the backstab roll, or?
Oh yeah. Could I get a backstab on that? I got an 8. I didn't mention it. It was another player, so I would argue no.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Okay, though.
I
remind
would
me.
certainly have given it to you if you had brought it up.
Yeah, thank you.
Nice damage.
So I did 8. At
Yeah.
least.
Yeah, you come down and I think you smack into this thing and your blade sinks into its shoulder and you're holding on to it and it starts flinging you around and in pain, and it starts to like lower its jaws towards you.
When it does a T-Rex roar, I want to shoot a freezing arrow into its mouth.
It's definitely doing it now. Your attack can go off maybe as it possibly kills the halfling.
Yeah. get
Can
to
you
take
roll?
the attack first?
Can you roll a d12 plus 7? Okay, good.
9.
However, it is forceful and messy and ignores armor.
Okay.
So ignores all your armor. It's going to chomp you, which is ignores armor and messy. I'm going to give you an immediate debility.
Okay.
Let me see here. I think probably shaky, because I think one of your arms is broken at least, and probably several of your ribs. And it roars, shaking its head like a terrier with a rat, and it releases its mouth, and it flings you into the jungle. And that's the last we see of Lotho for a little bit.
Oh shit.
I mean, like, for the turn.
Yes.
Normally I'd go to power chord, but it sounded like Mirai really wanted to shoot an arrow, so we'll get to you power chord in a second. Mirai, you wanted to time it so you fired an arrow into its mouth after, I guess, it releases Lotho, and it
I
does its
imagine it
roar
would,
in
like,
pain.
it would release Lotho, they would do like the roar of dominance the T-Rexes do.
Yeah, give me a volley roll. If you make it, I'll let you have damage advantage.
Wait, how the hell do you know that T-Rexes do a roar of dominance?
Well, I guess I don't, but no.
It happens, and she reacts.
It's like the perfect time to shoot one.
Don't fail.
Yep. Freezing arrow.
Oh,
I
shit.
got,
That was
still hit.
That was
really
close.
close to a fail.
Yep, so
Wow.
I have to choose one of the penalties. Can't choose ammo, so I guess I'll take what I can get. I think that's an option, right?
Yeah, minus 1d6 damage. So you do your damage minus 1d6.
You're gonna heal it.
This arrow chills the air around it, and frost begins to form over it. Its point, once it is drawn back, any target you strike with is quickly frozen in most cases if it gets free, or if it manages to resist its effects. Its actions are slowed significantly. This is going to be interesting with it being fired into its mouth.
Yeah, I would choose ammo, but I already emptied the ammo for that quiver, and I have to pull it out of the quiver to do the effect, so...
What are you choosing then?
I'm gonna choose take what you can get.
Okay, alright, roll. Roll with advantage, though.
That's a good take what you can get roll. At 1.
Okay. Alright, so, you time it and you fire it in here, and this definitely ignores its armor. It doesn't have a whole lot of armor, but it still ignores it. And there's a roar as it basically gulps down this frozen arrow, and immediately it begins like smashing like sideways into the trees. It looks like it's suddenly something very, very wrong with it. It's roaring in pain. It's shaking its head. Power chord, you can see bits of its skin look like it's beginning to freeze from the inside. What do you do, power chord?
What does the area look like right now?
Absolute chaos. Heru is healing a downed Minotaur. There's another Minotaur currently cracking open the skull of one of the last remaining raptors. The other ones have either been killed or fled off into the forest. Several of the Minotaurs are down, bleeding. I think only 2 are standing.
The 2 that are like down and bleeding, are they still conscious?
One of them is.
I'm going to strike a pose and point one of my javelins at him and look at him directly in the eyes and like sing some orcish sort of battle hymn about, courage and bravery. He probably can't understand it, but maybe I can at least
Ooh,
maybe
that
I can
actually
at
something
least
they
give
might.
him give him some willpower and some strength to continue on.
There's an irony to this that you don't know.
That is something that's pretty cool.
Yeah, actually, I think I might know about that. It's kind of funny.
Wait, so what was the effect you were going for?
I get two effects, so I'm going to I guess I'll shake his mind free of one enchantment and also heal him. So
An enchantment is specifically magical.
yeah, I guess.
Okay.
And
Alright, so you
12.
He's
Yield for 12.
Okay, yeah, that definitely, like, he gasps to life and he begins to pick himself up and he looks at you with like this odd comprehension in his eyes, like he is understanding your words. And I think Fergus, you see the same situation, that the T-Rex potentially freezing from the inside as it's smashing like painfully into the trees. It looks like it's actually trying to flee, but it's not able to see, maybe, or it's absolute chaos. What do you do, Fergus?
I wish to run after it like, you would not escape, big thing!
Oh, come on. Where's the day, like, Dragon, I will slay you!
And I want to attack it in the legs.
All right, go ahead.
And I'm gonna use True Strike. To roll 10 plus.
Nice. It's a good thing to use True Strike on a T-Rex. Now, I don't think this
Wow.
is Dragon Kin, but maybe it is.
If it is, it's 26 damage.
Whoa.
Because I rolled 13. 2 piercing. If not, it's 13.
Some very distant Dragon Kin. Like the axe is not glowing nearly as much as it did in the previous dragon presence, but it is glowing somewhat.
1.5 times damage?
Yeah, we'll go with that.
That's 20 then.
Uh,
Well, 19 to rev down. But
Well,
How
19,
do you-
yeah.
how does Fergus and how does Foster once again kill the T-Rex?
he like leaves after her and is like, you would not escape! And just chops clean through a leg.
Oh god! So its leg goes out from under it, and all of a sudden it wobbles like a chicken walker on the Battle of Endor, and it just topples over and crashes like through a bunch of trees, and you just hear as it crashes down, blood splurting everywhere. Fergus is utterly drenched because there's like an artery that he just severed, and as the T-Rex toppled over, the leg pointed directly at him, and it was like you were hit with a
I just
fire hose
raised
of
the
blood.
axe in victory.
Well, you raise the axe in victory, and you close your eyes as you get drenched in a fire hose of blood, and you were actually picked up off your feet for a second and knocked backwards in this shower of arterial blood, and knocked back onto
Big
the
question
path.
is, did the T-Rex fall in the direction that Lotho was flung?
It did.
joy.
Lotho's going to have to roll additional damage, but not for the T-Rex. More or less for the tree he's going to hit. Can you please give me a D10? Lotho, now that we're out of battle.
I've also.
Aren't there
been
still
thinking
some
about battle.
aren't there still some little guys?
Not anymore.
Oh, okay.
7 damage.
Haru is going to. Oh, sorry, I don't want to interrupt Lotho.
I think that was it. Unless
I think Lotho comes staggering out of the forest, one of his
Yeah.
arms utterly bloody and limp at his side, clearly broken,
Lotho,
but alive.
alright?
not really. Oh God.
Well, I have to ask the chief about a healer. I will comment. You need something more extensive to fix that arm, or at least to eventually heal it in time.
I think
could
one of the
probably
Minotaurs
squeeze it at
comes
least.
back. One of the Minotaurs comes back and says, "Fight well, but we must hurry. There may be more of the fast claws. They will smell the blood, especially the blood of the big one."
I'm going to make my way over to the large dinosaur, the big fang that just collapsed, and I'm going to approach its head, and I'm going to lean down and start to say a prayer over it, that may its strength serve the righteous. And I am going to hold that lavender gem that I've kept around for quite a while over its head, and I'm going to attempt to use Trap Soul into the lavender gem.
Okay. All
Big
right.
Fang
This is,
Soul.
you've talked about this for many months with many characters. Let's see you finally roll a Trap Soul.
A chance to use. I'll laugh my ass off. I botched it and trapped myself in a gem. Oh my god, I nearly did. I am going to forget the spell. Well, actually, I can't forget the spell. Shit. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with -1 ongoing, unfortunately.
You trap the soul of a dying creature within a gem. The trapped creature is aware of its imprisonment, but can still be manipulated through spells, parlay, and other effects. All moves against the trapped creature are at +1. You can free the soul at any time, but it can never be recaptured
You
once
see
freed.
this large baleful eye in the gym.
Yeah, you now have a gem that has the Eye of Sauron at all times, except it's a T-Rex eye.
One
I'm
wonders.
mounted onto my new armor is my plan.
And you guys wondered how they got the dreaded one into a amber cube.
I wish to loot a T-Rex.
Okay. This happened once before. Let's this will be, I think, the final thing we do this session.
Watch
I
it.
see what that's
Maybe it
gonna
has
do.
some holy relic that they've been lost for a while.
Roll a d12 +7 plus 1d4.
Nice.
18.
That looks promising.
Yeah.
Does
Oh, that's pretty good.
does sound promising. I'm looking up the chart now.
These beasts, they often eat notable warriors.
Oh God! Roll 1d10.
Uh-oh.
Roll
6.
1d10 again. Roll
9.
2d6.
Uh-oh. 7.
There is a chest inside of this monster's digestive tract.
Damn.
Do you take the necessary time to dig it out?
He doesn't. I'll start.
Power Cord has a better
One-armed
idea.
and everything.
I'm
He's going
interested
to-
in what's in it, so yes.
Power Cord has a better idea, so he's gonna walk up to this dinosaur, just say, "I've got this." He's going to he's gonna
I
take,
dive into the bushes.
he's going to grab his steed of stone out of his pocket, hold it in his arm, shove his arm as far down the throat of this thing as he can, and then activate the steed of stone.
Oh God, power cord.
Oh my
I
god.
love this.
That
Right, so
poor
Steed of
horse.
Stone, 1 use per day. This small, it's good that you're using this because your Steed of Stone has a load of 15, and that's going to be required to get this back to civilization. Once per day, the Steed of Stone may be used to summon a full-sized warhorse carved of pure stone. The steed has a load of 15, has no normal mortal needs or fears, and is loyal to whomever summoned it, but otherwise acts like a normal horse despite its artificial looks. It stays in its mount form for 6 hours before transforming back into a statue and cannot be used again until the following day. The T-Rex explodes. Just everywhere.
Right,
Everybody who is
Right
not...
takes cover.
I
I dove
you,
into
you
the
get,
bushes.
you get
Person.
some. You get some on your backside, Mariah, because you only take cover after I said it started exploding. And
Yes.
all right,
Fergus
so
is no worse off than before.
yeah, Fergus, you now have T-Rex intestines and teeth like splattered over you.
There's just one piece of intestine hanging off my horn.
It's like that scene
actually,
from
it's
the
off-
first
it's off an
season
AC.
Mariah
of The
probably
Walking
stands
Dead.
up really stiffly. He goes, "Ick."
if anybody can imagine that first scene of The Walking Dead where they cover themselves in the intestines, very similar to
Yep.
that. You guys find a hoard inside of this treasure chest.
Tasty.
Worth 6,000. You find 6,000 coins. You find.
Just a glint in Fergus's eye.
Let's see here. You find. Whoa. 90 gems.
Wow.
And those gems are each worth 700 apiece.
Damn. God.
Mayhaps you will be able to bargain for supplies. Yet.
90 times 7?
Who is noting all this down so we can worry about divvying?
Oh, wait.
I can always pull
Did you
off
say
a
they were
recording. if I need to,
700
but-
apiece?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh god.
There's just
63,000 gold?
just this massive glint in
Yeah,
Fergus's eye.
63,000 golden gems.
Those are easy to carry.
It looks like maybe this thing swallowed somebody's chest of treasure that they looted, maybe from the center of the island, and they were trying to pull it out to a ship somewhere, and this person was probably swallowed along with their hard-earned treasure. That's what happens when you roll an 18. It's happened twice now in the campaign.
Yeah. So who wrote all this down, making sure we've got it noted? Otherwise, I'll mark it down in the group notes here.
All right, yeah, group notes, 6,000 coin, and 90 gems worth 700 each.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the actual loot notes. Okay, I'm gonna put it in loot notes here. Why haven't you used this since Morgath?
Oh,
Holy crap!
Sorry. There were 6 raptors. Please tell me there's a raptor egg somewhere nearby.
One of them is wounded, and let's see here. You want to roll loot for the raptors
Indeed.
to see if there's a raptor egg?
I want to loot a raptor. I really do. Like an actual raptor.
Okay, maybe there is a chance that maybe there'll be an egg aboard. It's like looking for a mini pet in World of Warcraft. Raptor, Velociraptor.
I don't know how that would work. Like, why would a raptor be carrying around a viable egg?
I don't know, it might have a nest.
Mine in the
nearby or
bushes
something.
next by.
One of them might be pregnant.
They don't give live birth, though. They're raptors.
Roll d8 plus 2 plus 1d4.
D8 plus 2 plus 1d4.
6 times.
God. I think that's 6.
That is 6. 10.
Just for some comparison, because it's on the notes and really funny, when we fought Morgus, we got 60 gems worth 800 coin, and this time we got 90 gems worth 700 coins. That is one rolling in the.
It looks like
T-Rex.
somebody probably looted the entire Black Pyramid, and then their loot was swallowed by this beast.
That's hilarious.
I bet it was a goblin. Had to be a goblin.
You imagine a goblin carrying that
We
chest.
take
You have
all
like
the
6
goblins we
goblins.
left? We didn't, did we? Some stayed?
Oh,
Or did we take them all?
It
Might
was a
have
lot
taken
of
them all.
them. I think it was a lot of them. Many of them that were there anyway.
No, totally.
By the way,
the captain guy we ran off totally came back, looted the pyramid, and then the T-Rex ate him.
There you go.
All right, give me one last roll. This will be, I think, 1d8 plus 1d2.
24.
Can you roll 2d10?
With them separately or together?
Just 2d10.
Middle of the road.
Now a 2d6. There we go. There's the raptor egg. Okay. Yep. There is a very valuable small object worth 500 coin. Yeah, that's it.
Right, pulls a raptor egg out. It goes.
Mirai, the raptor runner, may
Mini
exist.
mini pet get eventually.
Is it safe to come out of the bushes now?
It's probably safe nowhere on the island, but everything around here is dead at the moment.
Okay. I come out of the bushes.
So I think
Holding
like
my arm.
the Minotaurs are looking at this site stunned now that they're looking at like the half exploded T-Rex and then the chest of gems and scattered coins inside, and like you can see them looking back and forth, and then you see a steed standing there, and you guys are starting to load up the chest onto the steed, and like their urge to try to urge you quicker abates somewhat. And we'll end there.
Just to give you a heads up, Haru Armor Mark II, I'm going to attempt to be mounting this gem of a T-Rex into.
Oh,
as
that's
well
so great.
as well as one armor plate I took from the guards in the hallway as a central part of it that I'm going to bronze up.
Lotho, come here.
How much does a raptor egg weigh?
I come there.
One weight.
So as we walk, I spend a balance on Lotho.
All right.
Cool.
Still got the debility, but you
Oh, yeah.
heal.
Heal 8.
Nice. Thank you. I feel better. Thank you. Still, my arm's a bit tight.
You might see Mirai take a cloak and wrap up the egg very carefully and place it into her pack.
If I'm gonna, I might be about 10 minutes late getting into Star Wars. Could someone actually check my XP? I have to run a quick errand between the two games, and I just realized
Sure.
that we're about a half hour over.
I will update your XP.
I thank you very much, and sorry for bailing here. I will
Alright,
be back
go
in back in about 40 minutes. So feel free to start like. first
Sorry it
orders
went
on me,
over a
and I'll be
little
right
bit,
back.
but I think everybody liked the T-Rex
Oh,
loot
no problem.
horde.
It
Oh,
was
yeah.
awesome. I
Spewing gold like a Diablo monster.
forgot I had to pick up a package over at there across the street. So I'm sorry. It's a real
Go on.
girlfriend's parents' old place. I'll be back, guys.
So,
Suddenly we have money again.
in the only place where money might not matter.
Yeah.
No, but it's useful for
This time we actually have a way of getting the money out of here.
it's useful for paying crew
now.
members that
Yeah, for now.
need paid. But
We do have enough money to pay generously for supplies now.
if they want money, they might not want money.
They might take overwhelming amounts of money in gems. Mirai, did you endanger yourself to combat an unnatural threat?
Not really.
Unfortunately, T-Rexes are all too natural on this island. Do you have any bonds that have been resolved?
Satals.
I would say, like, as far as I know, Satal's dead. So
Yeah, Satal is a big duty face. He backstabbed Fergus in the fight. I think that's pretty resolved.
I did.
You can
I did a lot
mark
more
an
than that
XP.
eventually.
Yeah. He was a big duty face.
that's all that Mirai knew you did.
That's true.
Fergus, did you defeat a worthy opponent?
I think so.
Yep. XP.
As
How about your
Fergus
bonds?
revels in his conquest.
Literally showered with gems and gold.
Fergus now has 7 honor.
Nice.
That may come in handy at some point.
Eventually, I'll just call down a whole freaking horde of
Horde.
Army.
angels.
Army of angels.
Regan! I fight you with my angel army this time.
Nice.
But,
Any of your bonds see movement?
I'm coming with Hero on his semi-quest right now. I healed him once, but I really haven't done a huge amount to help him yet. Power Chord is still singing my praises, so yeah.
Yep.
Gave me plus 44 damage today. Nothing major there so far.
Power Chord, did you spur others to significant and unplanned decisive action? Power Chord?
I would think so. If he's not there, I would argue for it.
Yeah.
With
Yeah,
Harrow.
You guys had quite a few things that Power Chord did.
Harrow and the horse, and what else?
I'll just mark down XP for him.
He almost obliterated Herodestrit.
Yep, he did.
Yep. Bonds for him.
Did you avoid detection or infiltrate a location today, Lotho?
I do believe so.
Yep,
With
mark XP.
Telemon's place.
Yep.
Grr.
And then let's see here. I have a new bond.
Yep, I stole something from Telemon.
Let's see here. Yeah, he's still pretty friggin' loud, that power chord guy.
Yeah, he may or may not have drawn a 69,000 coin worth T-Rex towards you.
Yeah, that hurt me pretty badly. So I think that one's getting pretty darn near done, but I don't know. I want to see him in the dungeon still. Yeah, once or twice. I think I'm way. If he would have like jumped to defend me on the ship more so than the captain, I think I would have even moved a lot more on that one.
Captain was more important than you. Sorry.
True, but that's why I would have said if you would have done that instead of the captain, it would have definitely moved a lot more. So I think I've still got the bonds going. In the next session, one might get fulfilled.
Haru, I don't think, denied mercy to a criminal or unbeliever.
Yeah.
Alright, so general XP. Did we learn something new and important about the world today?
We learned that, at least here, Hero's god is respected outside of his homelands.
We learned a heck of a lot about the future.
We did.
In the past,
or supposed
Yeah,
supposed
past,
future slash
us
past
slash time don't really know how to describe.
Back to the Future Part 4.
Everybody can mark an XP for that.
I'm just imagining Tell going through that book, it's like back on the ship, or a written down translation of the book with his hand on his head, going, "What am I gonna do?"
Yes, precisely.
Did we overcome a notable monster or enemy?
Yeah.
You know,
Fought it
T-Rex.
before, different one,
T-Rex
but-
is still notable. Did we loot a memorable treasure?
Sword.
Yeah.
Of Jim.
Yep.
And the sword, the mithril thing.
Yep.
That's pretty
sword's
notable.
cool too.
I was hoping to
Alright.
turn him into gold,
Does
but
Tell get experience because he was involved a lot of the episode?
Did he fight?
I put up defensive walls and stuff. I didn't really attack anything.
Tull was present. Give him XP.
what are you gonna do with all that XP? To say that you got it?
I don't know.
He's got so much.
Transfer it to Lily and give her like level 6.
All right, have a good night, guys.
Night. So the rest of us probably need to switch back over to